She said, give me a tall boy. I've been working too long, boy. Oh, what's a gal got to do to get some booze? And y'all call this a bar, boy. Oh, come on. He said, give me a tall boy. I need something stronger. Oh, what's a guy got to do to get some booze? And y'all call this a bar, boy. Skirt off in that Chevy, it go boom.
Welcome to Cowboy Shit. This is Ted Stovin. He is Wacey Anderson. You can follow us on the social medias. I'm at Ted Stovin. He's at Wacey Anderson. Check us out on both the Instagram or the Twitter. Wacey's got some good tweets. So check out Cowboy Shit official on all the social media pages as well, right, Wace?
We're all over the place, man. Pretty much any social. We're on LinkedIn now. Even we started a LinkedIn page.
If you can't find us, something is wrong because we're there.
Or else or else we just need to post more, I guess, so you can see. And we just show up on your page more often.
That is true. Wacey's working on that. We're getting there. So this is episode 110. It's the middle of February in Canada, and actually the start of February. It's only the 7th today.
It's in the positive degrees though for the middle of winter.
There's almost no snow left on my front lawn right now.
No, it's cool, man. It was such a nice walk. It was such a lovely walk to work this morning.
I bet you're probably just loving this right now, eh?
I'm a big fan, and I can run outside. Oh, I'm still training for a marathon.
Yeah, how consistent has your running been lately? It's
been good, man. I've ran almost 70 kilometers the past 6 weeks.
That's pretty good, eh? 10 kilometers.
It's been solid training. There's like nothing crazy, like
12. You gotta start bumping it up a little bit more. Though,
but then you pile on hockey and all this stuff like skiing. Guys does like there's a lot of training has been involved in the past month and a half. I burned in the month of January. I burned like how many calories? I think it was like over 10,000 calories in the month of January, which is pretty good.
That's like 5 days worth.
Burning 5,000 calories?
No, you said 10,000 in 5 days.
Or 10,000
a day.
Yeah, but burning it like through activity, like not just like sitting there. That doesn't include like the calories you burn just throughout. That's just like through activity.
Okay.
Yeah.
That seems like it might be good. I don't know. Cool.
It's pretty good. So we're doing a fitness challenge. We're doing a fitness challenge at work, and they say you should average between 8,000 and 10,000 burned through activity in a month.
Okay. Cool. All right. I like it. Okay.
But anyways, training's going good, man.
I was going to say skiing, though, too. Like the skiing we did this last week, that probably didn't burn very many calories.
I only had my phone watch.
With the alcohol.
I only had my phone or my watch on because it died, but I only had an hour's worth for a skiing day on there, and I had 650 burned. So
cool, man. I don't know what any of that means, so I guess let's just move on to hockey this weekend. We've got the Hannah Hockey Tournament coming up, so that's always a fun one.
Happy that it's back, man. It's been a couple of years now since we've been back. So,
in fact, 1 year since it's been away because we went to it in 2020.
But 2 years since you last played, pretty much. Two seasons of hockey.
Well, we only missed one Hannah tournament. Is what my point is. We missed it in 2021. That was it. It was one of the lucky events that happened still in January or in February of 2020 before things went down. So we missed it in 2021, and we're back in 2022. So we missed one.
But 2 years ago, that was the last one.
Okay, sweet. We're really on the wrong page today. But anyways, hockey tournament this weekend.
2020 to 2022 is 2 years, mate.
I get it. We're saying the same thing in different ways. So we're back. Hannah Hockey Tournament this weekend. Wacey, it's going to be good to be back. It's been 2 years since you've been there.
It's been 2 years since I've been back. It's been 2 years since we played hockey in Hannah, man. I'm fired up because, as people know, we love the tournament. We talk about it very often on this podcast. Mm-hmm. So when Lowell Johnson texted us that the tournament was back, we were fired up. So there's 6 teams, 2 days worth of hockey, and I think our chances are pretty decent to come out victorious and reclaim our A division championship, which we missed. We lost in the final in the last tournament. So I think things are shaping up to pretty good. We could use a couple more fellas on the team. We're looking pretty light. A lot of our OG Big Valley guys haven't played much hockey in the last 2 seasons, so they're a little bit out of shape and not really ready to go. So I mean,
hey, you don't know that they just haven't committed, man. You can't put on them that they're out of shape. You don't know they're out of shape. You don't know that.
Man, Skippy literally said those words to us as we were driving to Saskatoon. We have an inside source who sees those guys a lot more than we do.
Hey, I'm not the one.
So I'm trusting Skippy's scouting report.
Anybody gives a shit, that was on Wace. That one's on him. But yeah, like we said, if you're
gonna sit here and tell me that I'm wrong.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that I'm not gonna say if guys are out of shape. I'm not gonna put that on anybody.
Skippy literally said those words to us. They came out of his mouth. All
right, sweet.
So you gotta trust your sources, man.
So Hannah, if you want to come play hockey, we've actually talked to a few guys. Tannerino today. We tried to get him on the team. He has already been scouted by another team. Lowell Johnson.
I'm gonna hit him from behind if we play.
Already in. You're gonna play net. So good luck with that.
Well, actually, I reached out to another goalie just so I can play out and be that other body that we need. So may have got
another goalie yet or no?
He said he's gonna let me know tonight. So we are. It's actually Tegan Rouleau's brother.
Okay, right on.
Brady. Yeah, he played 4 years in the NCAA, so he can play
that'd be
the game.
Good. So we've got I got a little scouting report from Lowell Johnson too. We'll get to that here in a sec. But we've got on our team we got Cade Johansson, son of the Don father, Don Johansson.
Son of the Don father.
Who else we got? We got
Ryden Atwood.
Woody. He's playing.
We got Ryden Atwood, who's a good friend of mine. Timmy Martin, the biggest human in the whole world.
Yep.
His buddy Cody Fraser.
Are those two are like 6 foot plus D-men or what?
Yeah, they're big dudes. Well, Tim's not really a D-man. He did play forward when I played senior
forward.
with him.
And then we have Devin Maisie.
Devin Maisie, Canadian champ. Maybe.
Justin Edwards he's not a Canadian champ, but good champ.
Not a Canadian champ. He rides the bull good.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Canadian
Justin Edwards not on our team.
Yeah, neither is Gator. We asked them
Brandon Bardwell.
Yes.
He's on. Bardsy's back. He's been a staple in the team for a few years. And then we got Cade's cousin, and we don't really know what his name is. So Cade's cousin is on the team.
It's actually Ty. You don't know, but I do. It's Ty. It's Ty Johansson.
We got Ty Johansson. We got his cousin.
And then from Lowell's scouting report on some other teams, like we already talked about, we've got Tannerino, PBR Canada finalist, going to be on the Boot Hill Bandits. Strauss Milan looks like he's coming. He's probably part of that Sounding Lake Steer Wrestlers team. Cole Goodine, I've seen him at that tournament a few times. Leon Lay, Sounding Lake guy. Pat Cassidy. And like we said, Lowell's going to be. He was a part of one of our shows we did there live.
He is part of the dressing room.
Mentioned 2 years ago, last time we were there, and gonna be a fun tournament. It sounds like Lowell might have loaded up though, so we're gonna have to see how this goes. But
the Boot Hill Bandits, they were getting old, so it's about time they injected some youth into that lineup. So good move by them to scoop up Tannerino. He played junior B for a few seasons there, so Tanner's no slouch when it comes to playing the hockey.
I also tried Nick Tetz, but he was busy bull riding this weekend, which is that's cool too. But like I said, if you want to play some hockey this weekend, we're looking for some recruits. So send us an application on any of the
send us why we should pick you on our team.
Yeah, we need a little bit of lowdown. And just for the record, Jake Molberg from he's our buddy down in Wisconsin, been part of the PBR crew for a long time. He's coming next year, Wacey. He said I'll be there next year. So
we have some folks from Washington who want to come join the team as well.
Maryland,
we met when we were down in Fort Worth.
Maryland.
Yeah.
That's a different side of the country.
We're gonna get some recruits on the team from Americans.
Yeah,
some Americans.
It'll be fun. Our friend Jake. Is it Keeley? Keeney. Jake Keeney. He's gonna come check us out. Come be part of the crew. But okay, and here a couple more things before we get off the top half of the show. So something I saw today on Twitter, thanks to Cody Snyder, Fort Worth, and I didn't watch any of it, so I didn't even know this. Fort Smurf. Removed the markout rule. So one of the biggest, probably one of the more traditional rodeos that's really making some moves and updating things, removes the markout rule. And Cal White's the rodeo kind of assistant production manager there. Rodeo, I don't know his exact title. I should have had it before the show, but removed the markout rule. So I think that's a pretty cool addition. I shouldn't say addition. It's subtraction from the rule book that kind of helps. One of the things they mentioned was it helps remove confusion in the sport, and it was part of their updated formats where they have pools and brackets and semifinals and finals. So it's a progressive thing. So it's not such a total disaster. Last time I was there was 2011, and it was just a shit show of different stock every day. You might get lucky, you might win some money. The guy that I went there with was like 72, 71, and 80 and won like second place. So now you've got to have like a good pool, and you're against good guys. They take the people, and it's a much improved show compared to when I was there last time, and less of a drawing contest. So big kudos, I think, goes out to Fort Worth on doing, moving forward. And the Dickies Arena, which is home of the PBR World Finals and coming up in May, it's going to be a pretty neat venue. It is a pretty neat venue, so I'm looking forward to seeing an event there at some point. But I hope
hopefully that's a trend that continues.
Yes.
With more of the bigger rodeos. We've seen it here in Calgary now for a long time, and it works really well. And it really it makes the event easier to follow for people. So
correct.
Yeah,
we like. I thought that was neat. I had to point that out. And then the last thing on the top half of the show here, the buckles, Cowboy Shit by Montana Silversmiths. Check us out. The buckles now on the website cowboyshit.ca. Make sure to get yours if you'd like one. And they're also in a number of stores now, so check it out.
We got buckles and the dog tags, which are super cool.
Yeah.
Now we've been able to see them and get them in our hands. They're awesome. I like the way they look. So
we also gave one away the other day at the hockey game in Kindersley, but we'll get to more of that, or not Kindersley. Where the hell we were? Kimberly, close. But yeah. Anyways, we'll be back with our interview after this. Big hockey guy coming up on the show, and he's a Cowboy too.
Hey, hockey guy, literally.
Yeah, this is episode 110, Cowboy Shit. Ted and Wacey, thanks for listening. We'll look at you all soon.
All right, our next guest is a 15 or 16-year maybe pro hockey, former professional hockey player. He's from Brock, Saskatchewan. He's the 2016 National Team Roping League champion. I didn't even know it was a thing, but it's a thing. He is probably the biggest human I've ever sat beside my whole life. Welcome to the Cowboy Shit Podcast, Steve MacIntyre. What's going on, my dude?
Thanks, guys. Not a whole lot. Just hanging out here in Kindersley today.
You so I guess Kindersley. So you've lived a lot of places in your hockey career and in your lifetime, but you're back pretty close to home now. It's probably nice to be back.
Yeah, it's nice to be back. We're like I said, I'm about half an hour from the farm. Actually, Mom and Dad's place. 3 miles just straight west of them. But yeah, it's a great place. There's nothing like home. Obviously, I don't miss the cold weather, the 52 degrees.
That gets old real fast.
With the wind chill, yeah. I miss the south.
I don't think there's any trees in within 30 miles of Kindersley either, so the wind really howls through here.
It's awful.
So your mom and dad are their grain farmers, cattle ranchers too, or?
Yeah, we got cattle ranch. We got some grain land. Dad leased it all out, so we're just mainly cowboys, farmers, ranchers right now.
So then how does a kid from Brock, Saskatchewan, growing up on a cattle ranch, mixed farm, I guess you could call it,
right,
end up playing professional hockey? Where was it something you always want to do from the beginning, or just people were like, oh, this guy's huge, he's probably going to be good at hockey?
Well, it was kind of one of them things, we there wasn't a whole lot to do in the wintertime.
Yeah.
We were feeding cows and playing hockey, and the Brock rink was always open, so we were always skating, and then there's a big slough out behind our backyard, so we were always skating. You'd think with all the ice time I got, I'd be a little bit better skater than I was, but wasn't the case.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess you'd have been part of that era where the big man hockey was kind of like the peak of the big man hockey, where it's like if you had some size to you, you probably were getting a few more looks than maybe a guy's my size.
If I'd have been born probably 10 years, a little bit sooner maybe.
Yeah.
Like I said, my tail end of my career, they kind of went away from it. But now even watching the game last night, I watched a little bit of the Oilers game, and I was like, holy smokes!
It's
did
quick
you guys
out
see
there.
that Connor McDavid?
His shoot go was ridiculous.
That was unbelievable, wasn't it?
That was dirty.
Okay, so what about when I forget who it was, but the guy was just totally on top of him in the corner, lost his stick trying to hold him, and still didn't get. There was no call on the play.
Oh, that guy's just a human highlight reel though. He's dangled through 4 people. He'll do whatever. What he did to Morgan Riley last year against when they were playing the Leafs.
True.
That was just disrespectful.
I watched. So I haven't watched a whole lot of hockey, but I watched 2 of the Oilers games. One of them was against the Rangers, and then one of them was last night against the Predators. My old coach is actually coaching their team, John Hines, and like I said, those 2 games, I was just like, oh my gosh, thank goodness I'm not playing anymore.
But you are still playing. You got a game tonight.
Yeah, we're playing senior here in Kindersley. Like I said, I'm trying to play as much as I can, but as you get older, things start creeping up.
Yeah.
It's a little harder to do, but like I said,
it's almost like a rite of passage as like a former like professional or like high level hockey player. If you're from Saskatchewan, you come home and you play for your local senior team. Like that was the coolest thing. Like, oh yeah, so and so's coming back to play for the so and so's. Like that would be the talk of the whole like RM or like where
right.
like, the local area. So it must be kind of cool to come back and play for your senior team.
Oh, for sure. Like I said, it's I've never won a provincial title, so that's I'm hoping. That's why I'm taking a couple more days off and icing the old wheel up and going from there. But the guys are great here. We got a good bunch of guys and a lot of fun, a lot of young guys, up and comers. But then again, though, I'm the old guy on the team by quite a few years. I think there's some 18-year-olds and it's a little interesting playing with them because the game's changed and the way you approach talking to them is a little different. You can't.
It's a little more
PG.
Yeah,
you don't want to hurt their feelings, but no, they're good. They're a good bunch of guys. Like I'm a competitor, and sometimes I get a little intense. But
well, you want to win. Obviously, you say never
right,
won a provincial title, so you still have that fire to win, which is cool.
But like I said, I enjoy it. They're a good bunch of boys, and I can call them boys because I'm quite a bit older. Although there's a couple other guys that like Troy Beaujolais. He's 39, so he's in the same wheelhouse.
Yeah. So playing in these senior games, do you have like some tough guy from another town come up to you like, oh yeah, I'm gonna fight Steve MacIntyre. I'm gonna be the hero. Like, has that been a thing for you, or is everybody, you kind of got your area?
I don't. I just, like I said, it's funny actually. A lot of the teams that we do play were a lot of the teams that I played in minor hockey. Mm-hmm. So there's still that rivalry.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not afraid to throw a little CCM lumber around either. It's a lot easier on the body.
Yeah.
Them guys can they'll have to skate through a CCM hockey stick rather than a.
Well, let's jump right into your career. So was professional hockey or like even major junior something that was on the radar from the beginning for you, or were you just kind of, like you said, you enjoy playing and then not much to do in the wintertime, but when did that become a goal for you to take that next step?
It was one of them things like, well, to be honest with you, no. I mean, growing up in small town Saskatchewan, you wanted to play at a high level, but I was never drafted, never got drafted in the Bantam draft, never got drafted in playing professional, and a lot of people kind of never really ever thought I'd have an opportunity or a future, and really at that time, I didn't even think I had a future, but the big fella upstairs, he kind of had a plan, and I was fortunate enough to have keep having opportunities, and even when doors closed, another one opened, and that's kind of like I said, we were kidding about it earlier. Maybe you should ask me more about the teams I didn't play for rather than the teams I did play for, because I think the list would probably be a lot shorter. But it was such a great opportunity coming from a small town, Saskatchewan, to carry on a hockey career. And it wasn't the easiest, but like I said, I wouldn't change anything.
Well, and even coming up, like you got to play for some Saskatchewan WHL teams, which is really cool. I know, like growing up as a kid, that's all I wanted. I wanted to play for the Moose Jaw Warriors, like more than anything. That's like where I was born, and like so much of my family's from around there. So it must have been so cool to like put on those jerseys. You got to go on and like play in those buildings. We're talking about the Art Hauser and the Arena Medicine Hat and all those cool places. Saskatoon
was, like I said, growing up. We're 2 hours from Saskatoon, and I was always a Blades fan, so that was pretty cool putting that jersey on. I always Chris McAllister's dad. He was sitting in the penalty box. He was in the home team's penalty box. I don't want to say, like I said, forgive me if I'm wrong, but I want to say his name was Jack, and I'd always call him Mr. McAllister. Yeah. And he'd always, hey, Hack, how's it going? I was like, oh, good. I'd get in there, serve my 5 minutes, and we'd be BSing and telling stories. And I'd always ask how, Chris was making out and Wade Belak, and because those are all the guys that came up before me, right before me, a couple years before. So I'd always kind of follow them, and even to this day, we kind of laugh and joke about that. And, you know, I talked to Chris a little bit on the old crack book there and just say, hey, you know, ever since, like I said, obviously his father passed away here, God rest his soul. But before that, I'd ask him, hey, you know, tell your dad I said hello. But, you know, things like that. He was a small town guy, and we're small town guys. And you know, growing up Blades fan, that was pretty cool.
So who are some of the scariest guys you squared off against in the WHL? And that's like, even when you talk major junior hockey, the WHL is like the Wild West. Like it's big man, tough hockey out here.
Right. Well, right off the hop, obviously you got guys like Colt Knorr, Eric Goddard, Stephen Pete. Those are kind of all. I got there before Scott Parker. Scott Parker was in Kelowna, so I got there a year after he left. But obviously, you know, he was a big gunslinger. And Rocky Thompson. Those are some pretty tough Cowboys.
What were some of those tilts like though at the time? Like, did you get your ass kicked at some points, or were you always in pretty good shape, or were you like worried about going in, or was there no nerves, or
you know,
before the games what was it like?
I think it's just like anything. You know, if you don't have, well, you're always scared. At least I was. I was always scared to lose, and so that kind of overpowered I was always worried about losing, so I always tried to, you know, like I was fighting more out of fear than anything, and it wasn't necessarily like, you know, there wasn't guys necessarily bigger than I was, but it was just like, hey, you know, I want to make sure that, you know, use my strength to my ability, or, you know, as an asset. And like I said, I'm a big guy, a big farm kid from small town Saskatchewan, so I tried to use that as much as I could. But, you know, there were some big tough guys that, like I said, I come up against, like Eric Goddard, him and I, and we battled every game.
He's a tough son of a bitch, too.
Oh, my gosh. Like, we battled every game, it seemed like. And, I mean, he'd either crack me or I'd crack him. And it was never really ever one-sided. It was either, you know, maybe I edged him out, maybe he edged me out, maybe we had a draw. You know, last time we fought, he obviously beat me. And it's funny, I actually messaged him the other day. I said, hey, I owe you one. We need to play senior. But I found out he's in Vernon, British Columbia.
Yeah,
so
he hightailed it out of here.
But I said to him, I said, you're the only guy that I haven't got back yet.
Well, it's pretty cool that, like, you mentioned the names like Colt Knorr, Eric Goddard, that kind of stuff. Like, those are guys you'd battled with throughout your whole career.
Right.
Like Teddy and I were watching some of your hockey fights on the way over, just like kind of doing our homework, and like those are some names that stood out that you'd fought in the league and like, growing up. So it's kind of cool to see like that journey of battling through that.
Yeah, like I said, back when I played, and even earlier, you know, it was the Wild West.
Yeah.
You know, like even earlier, you know, we had the Blades. You know, they had Wendell Clark, Joey Kosher, Tony Twist. You know,
he's wild.
Dave Brown.
Yeah.
Like, all these guys are just like lunatics.
Yeah.
You know, Kenny Baumgartner, Dave Manson up in PA.
Dave
like,
Manson,
just legends.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if I'd have been 10 years earlier, I would have really got my ass kicked. But and, you know, another guy, Derek Bugard, he was right up there too. Mm-hmm. And believe it or not, there was another kid from probably up in your neck of the woods, Matt Sommerfeld.
Okay, yeah.
Matt Sommerfeld was probably the toughest guy pound for pound that I ever fought in my entire career. Like, there was a guy that was just tougher, and he was tougher than a $2 steak.
Well, the thing about the WHL too, though, is you get a lot of the small town farm kids like you who like that. You just come off the farm and you're a big strong kid, and then you mix a big slew of them together, so you're just bound to be like big scraps like that, right?
Yeah, we had some good ones. We had Darcy Hortichuk was one of my teammates in Saskatoon, and I mean, we had line brawls against Regina, it seemed like every other game, and Moose Jaw, we had line brawls against them all the time, and it was, wow, Brandon, you know.
Everybody.
I mean, literally everybody. We were line brawling everybody, and we had a big rivalry between PA too. Like,
especially being in Saskatoon, it's so close together, yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, there was not too many shortages of line brawls. It was funny, actually. One of the pictures, there was a Star Phoenix, and Tyler McKay had this big shiner, and he was our goalie, and he had his visor, you know, his helmet up on top of his head, and he had this big old black eye. Got it from him, you know, line brawl. Like, we might not have been the best, but we were, you know, what we lacked in skill, we were trying. I remember Kyle Fredericks, we were in a line brawl against Regina, And Kyle Fredericks is the biggest human I think I've ever fought in my life. If you ever get a chance to interview him too, he's another guy. He's a big, scary man. Like, he looked like Frankenstein. He was huge. He took his helmet off, and I mean, his helmet was like, I got big hands, but he had big, like just big fingers. I mean, his whole hand fit on the top of his helmet. And of course, me being stupid, I'd always call him, you know, this or that, and I just, you know, just be. And I mean, I'm 6'5", and he's 6'7", I think.
Oh my God, man!
He was got a bit of reach on you.
Oh, he had, like I said, the first fight, he had literally bent me over backwards, and I'm just, you know, I'm sitting there punching up, and he was so freaking strong. Golly, he was strong. And then the second fight, we ended up having a draw, but he was a big, strong individual.
So, like, was your first fight in the WHL? Was it kind of like a shock of like, okay, like there's actually people out there as big as me, or was it kind of you just knew?
And I want to go back further. Like, what was your first fight ever? Like, were you a fighter since kindergarten, or was the first one like you got playing hockey and like it was a hockey thing, or was it a life thing? Like, what was the first one ever?
I want to say the first fight I ever was I got my ass kicked. It was a kid.
Good motivation.
I was playing AAA midget.
So it was hockey.
Yeah, it was hockey.
AAA midget. So you went a long time before you.
Yeah, no, I've never. I don't
you
have.
Didn't start off being a fighter.
No, not at all. I'm not a fighter. I'm really not. I don't have that mentality. But, even now, like even when I fought, like I never really had that. You know, like obviously, you develop. It's a skill, just like anything. But yeah, I absolutely got. We were playing. Oh, where were we? I was playing AAA midget with the contacts, and Kerry Nice. He was a Minto.
Is that PA?
That's PA.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And I can't. It was the Max tournament. I can't.
In Calgary. Like at Max
Might
Bell?
have been in Calgary, yeah.
Yeah, the Max is Calgary, isn't
it?
it?
Max
can't
Calgary.
remember.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, he absolutely beat the dog shit out. I mean, I was black eye, but I got him back.
That way.
The next year.
Oh,
But that was the first fight I got in, and then, like I said, I fought a little bit in training camp, and I was here in Kinnersley, and I fought a little bit there, and it was just kind of one of them things that, like, I grew up, you know, in a family like we're not aggressive. I mean, we're aggressive people, but we don't really, you know, we don't.
You're not going looking for a fight.
Right,
yeah.
Right. My dad, he's 6'4", and you know, my brother's 6'2". Now, granted, my sister, she's a little bit of a scrapper. But
that's where it came from.
Yeah.
And my sister and my mom, they're little scrappers. But like I said, we don't really go looking for it. But you know, we're sure not going to back down from one. But it takes us a little while to get wound up. Yeah. Like I said, you can probably tell in my fights, it took me about 4 or 5 or 6 or 7, 8 before I started kind of swinging back.
Huh. So when you got to like the dub, was it like you were there to be the fighter? Or were you kind of there like as an enforcer role? Like what did that look like?
Well, it was kind of like I said, I didn't really understand the role because it was new to me. Mm-hmm. But you know, it was a role that I had evolved maybe into. You know, as a big kid, so they kind of wanted me. They wanted me as that, but they also wanted me to play. And obviously, at that age, it's, you know, there's more on the fighting rather than this, you know. And it was just
one of those things.
It was one of them things that if I was going to continue, then I needed to learn how to play the game. I needed to, you know, get my skills going and you know, continually work on those. And of which, like I said, I had some pretty good coaches throughout my career, and 2 in particular that were in Providence in my American League day with the Providence Bruins, the Bruins farm team with Paul Vincent and Doug Smith.
Would you have played with Wacey Rabbit there then?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
Wacey was my line mate.
Yeah, we interviewed Wacey like a couple months ago. Yeah, we're trying to recruit him for Hannah too. He just tweeted us, he says $1,000 He was super fun, man.
You have to ask Wacey next time you see him. We got him talking about line brawls. So me, Wacey, and Chris Collins. So, like I said, those 2 guys, you know, they're what, 5?
They're not big dudes.
10,
yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And like I said, Wacey, he could chuck him. And Collie could chuck him too. We got in a line brawl in Rockford, and I was playing with those 2. I love playing with them guys. Like I said, I just give them the puck and
Wacey was a badass. He was
just go stand in front of the net.
So before, would you play with him in Saskatoon too?
No, I played with him in Providence.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So I played with them, 2 guys, and like I said, we had a lot of fun, and a lot of fun off the ice too.
Well, I want to get to that too, but on the skill side, what did it take to improve on that side? Like is that practice every day and the great coaches? Is that what you were kind of getting to, or?
Well, like I said, I had my skills coach was Paul Vincent, and he was from Boston, or from Falmouth actually. He's born in Boston. He lives in Falmouth, and then Doug Smith was my fight coach, and I don't know if you guys watched the movie Goon, but that's loosely based on Doug Smith.
Oh, really?
So yeah,
I love that movie.
Well, of course we watched Goon.
So good.
Goon,
that's a great show.
Yeah. But it's those 2 guys are the reason why I had an opportunity to play, further my career in the NHL. Cause
you had a fighting coach.
Oh, it was great. Yeah, the guys were.
That's
like, you ask Wace next time you talk to them. They were getting bag skated, and I was working out with Doug, and they were getting skated, and I was literally like just rapid fire, just as fast and hard as I could hit the bag.
Really?
Yeah, we were with hand pads as fast as they.
What was his background?
So he was a Boston cop, but if you look him up, I don't know exactly his career, how it worked out, but he played pro, and he played junior, but he was like a late bloomer.
Yeah.
And he just kind of developed. He liked the fighting, and that's kind of how things went. But talk about just a good guy, just some of the stories, and even just some of the knowledge, the difference. It's changed. The role has changed over the years, and he kind of learned how to adapt. But he helped me develop a skill that I ended up getting pretty good at, and I started to take the other thing too is my mentality started to change. Like, I just had my boy, he's going to be 16 this year. It's just crazy. But excuse me, he when you start looking at it that way, it's like, okay, these guys are trying to take food off my table for my kid. So it's just like the little thing kind of went. Yeah, that's kind of where you develop that switch,
that instinct. Yeah,
because it is a switch. You're not a fighter. No. It's a thing you have to skill you're developing essentially.
Yeah, I was not like I said, I'm not a violent by nature kind of guy. I'm not really that intense. I can be, just like I'm sure you guys can be too. But
I got fired up the other night.
Oh yeah, Teddy drew a penalty.
My blocker at a guy. No, this was the other night on Saturday.
Oh, funny.
Somebody pushed somebody down in front of me, and I went after the guy. The ref wrapped me up first. But I was going to swing the blocker out. I was pissed.
I get fired up, man. Mad. Especially beer league hockey. People are such meatheads in beer league hockey.
Just dipshits.
We had a guy the other night, our goalie. We were in Robert.
Were you part of that line, bro?
No, that was okay. We were in Robert the other night. So there's a big rivalry between Robert and Kindersley, right? There's always been, since I was a little kid, there's always been a rivalry between Robert and Kindersley. Well, our goalie that we, or whatever, he started throwing blockers.
Oh, no.
This kid kind of run him, and it was like, our goalie was a pretty big kid, and this other guy wasn't that big, and the next thing you know, this kid's leaking, and this guy, our goalie's just feeding him the block.
Oh, my God.
He gave him 2 for sure, anyway.
That's insane.
I'm like, you know what? He's getting a pretty good licking. I don't have to step in there.
Jeez.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah. Goalies, you guys are squirrely.
Yeah, don't fuck around, man.
It would have been bad. I would have probably been banned for a few days. But I jumped at him and I kind of slipped, and then one of the refs caught me, and I was seeing red at that point.
Fired up.
And I'm not a big And then the guy was trying to chirp me after. He said, "What do you little punk?" And I'm like, "Same size as you fucking bitch." And I was like,
"Oh man,
I was fucking mad."
The guy's probably had a full cage on too.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, that drives me sideways.
So, are you one of those guys that's a tough guy between the linesmen?
No, I was going after him.
Okay.
I was going after. There was nothing. Yeah. There was if I wouldn't have slipped and fell and he caught me, it was gonna be bad. I was freaking out at that point.
My last year in playing AA midget in Watson, we were playing Prince Albert in provincials, and it was 2-game total point, the stupid shit we do. We were playing and we were tied with them. And it was a third period, and they had this huge guy on their team. He was 6'4", just a meatball. They get on a power play. They send him out to stand in front of me, in front of the net. And he's right in the crease, right in my grill. And I'm getting pissed off.
Was he looking at you?
No, he's his butt right to me. He was just pissing me off. So I was like jabbing him with the back of my blocker and the like lower back and everything I could do, and back the legs of my stick. Finally, he wouldn't move, so I took the tip of my blade of my stick, jammed him right in the can, and this guy went down like a fucking tree. And this was like second period, so there's still like hockey to play. So this guy went down. The refs didn't see it because the puck was going back the other way, and this guy was dead. And he was like fired up, whatever. The period ends. I'm walking off the ice. There's parents because you have to walk. It's like that old rink in PA, like behind the Walmart. So I'm walking through the lobby, and there's parents yelling at me, like, "You fucking dirty player!" Like just fired up at me.
No.
So whatever. We ended up tying that game. Had to go back to Watson for another game. And so we're shaking hands, and this guy looks me dead in the eyes. I'm gonna fucking kill you. So it turns out this guy was like trained MMA, like just this big tough fucker. But like I was like put my life at risk, like taking this guy down because I was so mad. But yeah, I don't fucking people piss me off, but that's what
happens.
So would you have been in Providence when Tuukka lost his shit?
That was a year after.
Okay. Yep. Okay, that's what I love. That it was funny hearing Wacey's perspective on that story. But then
threw the chair out?
Yeah, he threw the chair and the milk crate and like just went absolutely ballistic. I love that.
Yeah.
So then
he's fiery.
Would you have caught with like Bergeron and Luch and all those guys?
They were the first year in Boston. So I think Luch he went from the WHL right to playing in Boston. Yeah.
Who was the craziest goalie you were on a team with?
That I played with?
Yeah.
Oh, I had a pretty nutty goalie in Red Deer, Dustin Schwartz. I think he's actually their goalie coach up there right now.
Oh man, goalies are wild. So was Providence your first crack at pro hockey then?
No, I started out. Actually, come to think of it, we had some pretty nutty goalies.
This probably goes further.
Trying to figure out who we had. We had a couple nutty ones, but there was another kid I played with in Charlotte. He was a nut bar. He was a little bit of snap show too. Not as bad as Schwartzy. Schwartzy and I, like I said, actually I think Schwartzy's coaching in, was it Spruce Grove or Sherwood Park? I can't remember.
That's wild.
I can't remember, but anyway, me and Schwartzy, like I said, we go out for beers after whatever, but yeah, there was some beauty. Goalies and I like the thing about it is, you think goalies are nuts, right? Well, most of the time, tough guys are enforcers, and goalies usually we're like best buds because we're both a little bit squirrely. One's catching punches and one's catching pucks. So, and somebody's always trying to take our heads off.
Yeah,
so
that's a good point.
You know, like up in Edmonton, me and JD Delorier, we got along really good. He's a French goalie.
Oh yeah, Delorier. I
he's
about him.
He's dude. Such a good guy. He was. Him and I, we hung out quite a bit and on the road, different things, but. Like Dwayne Rolson was another beauty.
I was listening to a Spittin' Chicklets episode one time. They were telling stories like how he just loves to crush wine or something and just gets
he likes to Crown Royal.
That's so awesome, man.
But
I love that shit.
Like I said, I got it's funny. I got a goalie stick of Rollies, and I think it says to Steve or something like that, or something about whiskeys or Crown Royals or something like that. And I was like, that's awesome. It's totally Rolly.
Yeah, but he's something else, that guy.
Such a good dude.
Yeah.
And then that was the other thing too, is like when I was in Edmonton, like I was an old rookie. I was like 27, 28. Mm-hmm. And I was 28, yeah. And I didn't fit in with the young guys, and I didn't really fit in with the old guys. Well, Rolly was an old guy, so he didn't really fit in with anybody, so me and Rolly. It was great.
That was a couple years after the big cup run too, right?
Yeah, that was in 08, 09, yeah.
And that they were 06 that they went all the way, right?
Yeah.
So we did some prior research on the way here. We talked to a friend of ours, Roland McFadden.
Pony.
Yeah. So speaking of the Oilers and Spittin' Chicklets, there's a story going around about one of their co-hosts, Ryan Whitney, that there's a little bit of a beef or a little bit of a incident between the two. We were doing some recon with our friend Pony here on the way.
Roland McFadden.
And people know that we're all fans of Spittin' Chicklets, so he mentioned how you have a bit of a history with one of their co-hosts, Ryan Whitney.
Yeah, Whit and I, like I said, we played together in Edmonton, and apparently I'm as big as a refrigerator and can't shoot and a couple other different things.
And when you're teammates, he says this shit?
Man. Well, like I said, now I think in the episode he said all these different things, and I'm like, well, whatever, you know. Hey, you know what? At least I was there.
Yeah.
But I think one of them, I couldn't shoot, which is kind of ironic. And then I was big as it, which is obviously.
Good one, Whit.
I guess. And then, what was the other one? I hadn't played very long. I don't know if you guys know him. He hadn't played very long, which is, that's fair.
Yeah.
I'll give him that one. But, we didn't set it off. We didn't hit it off real great off the start. There was a little bit of history there. And
what kind of history do you want to elaborate?
Our first, like I said, the first time I ever met him, I was coming back, and it was my second tour of duty in Edmonton, and we were dressing in the visitors' dressing room, and I'm a big believer in if not just one guy, what happened was he was gonna end up having some issues with his skates or equipment or something like that, so he was gonna be late. So there's me, Sean Horkoff, and him left in the dressing room, and I didn't want him showing up, just him rolling the dressing room being late. So if it was gonna be him, it'd be all three of us. So we all three went instead of just whatever. So that was my thinking. So we get in the dressing room, and right off the hop, Tom Rennie just kind of lays into us. He's like, "You guys are freaking blah, blah, blah late. If you're not 5 minutes early, you're 5 minutes late, blah, 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 blah." And, they didn't he didn't throw us under the bus, but he didn't really tell us, which it wouldn't have made any difference anyway. We were late.
You're getting cussed either way.
We were getting cussed, whatever. Yeah. So anyway, I was like, what kind of guy is this? And like I said, obviously changed and people grow up and mature, whatever. I'm sure he's great. I haven't talked to him for a while. But the story, like I said, him and I had, some issues or some situations throughout the course of the year. And like I said, there was a couple instances where I had to go over, I think. And like you said, the story that he did tell was pretty true. I was having a tough practice, which, I was the drill wrecker. And I will admit.
The drill buster.
I was a drill wrecker, drill buster. A little bit of one. Not entirely, but a drill, whatever. I was struggling because, like I said, I had to be on, my A game all the time. And so I was on edge all the time. And
that's a lot of weight to carry around.
Whereas those guys, like I said, they can kind of, they can do their thing and they get by on skill. Where it was like I had to go 110% all the time, and so there was no taking days off. So I'm just the hamster in the wheel, just round and round and round and round. So anyway, long story short, we get back and forth, and he yells at me, and I'm just. At this point, I'm ready to
seeing red. Rennie or Whit does?
Whit.
Yeah.
He's yelling at me and
on the ice.
Oh yeah. And we're practicing. So I go over to him and I tell him, I said, "If you ever talk to me like that again, I'll effing rip your arms off and I'll kick the living shit out of you." And he just was like, "Okay." Never had a problem with him the rest of the year, really. Okay. And I even invited him out. Some of these kids, they didn't understand there's life outside hockey.
Yeah.
I got to be really good friends with some really cool people, the people that run and own Cycle Works up in Edmonton. They treated me like I walked in and, I was able to buy a four-wheeler and for my dad for Christmas. And, I built that relationship and they allowed me to use some sleds and some four-wheelers and, whatever kind of thing. And it was really, really cool. When I told Whit this, I said, "Hey, you guys ever been sledding or shooting guns or anything like that?" And he's like, "Oh my gosh, you can do that?" And I was like, "Yeah,
I'll do it."
There's life outside of hockey other than going to the rink, eating, sleeping, going to the bar, chasing women. There's more to life than just that." And I said, "There's other stuff that you can do, go ice fishing, whatever." And he's like, "Man, that'd be awesome. I would really want to go." But anyway, never ended up working out. But we kind of buried the hatchet a little bit. Well, we sucked that year.
It was a tough season, yeah.
It was terrible. So it was a tough season. So we were all ready to kill each other by the end of the year. Well, the end of the year, party comes along. And I'm up there. And, I might have been drinking a little bit of whiskey. Might not have been. I don't know. I'm up there, and they got a karaoke bar playing, and I'm singing David Allen Coe, just rocking it out. I think I got a picture.
Call Me By My Name?
Oh, for sure. That's my go-to.
Exactly.
I'm up there, and I'm just singing my heart out, and
you never
right. And he's in the back because he used to come to the rink with I kind of had to giggle because I come to the rink and exactly what I got on right now with my muck boots or my, whatever, my dry shods or, my cowboy boots or whatever, right? And like
normal gear.
didn't, And it's funny. The other thing too is like I come in with my ton truck and they got their, Maseratis and their Escalades
fancy cars,
and their whatever. And Troy actually, he's like, man, he says, I can't believe it. He says, you don't even change your wardrobe or nothing? Because he used to give me crap about that too. He's like, no. He said, I got my boots, my rubber boots on. I'm good to go.
It's cold in Edmonton in the winter, man.
Warmth, not comfort. Or not looks. I'm dressing for warmth and function.
He's crafty. You grew up on a ranch, dude. You're not
30 below in Edmonton.
Hey, you're not wearing your fancy ass shoes on feet cows.
Yeah.
So that was obviously that was one of the kind of things that guys giggled at, but I didn't really care because this was me.
Yeah.
And David Schmidt actually said, well, we definitely know what truck is yours on the ramp. The only ton truck there. Everybody else is Escalade, Mercedes, whatever.
Rovers.
But anyway, year-end party comes up, and I'm singing, and he's yelling. He's like I said, going back to what I was saying. He comes to he's from Boston, and he came, and he had this purple suit. It was like it's not a one piece, but it was like one of them, like the mafia guys wear.
Oh,
like
yeah,
the jumpsuit.
yeah.
Really? I'll never forget.
Like a tracksuit style. Yeah, okay.
I'm like,
what in the fuck is this?
What are you doing? Yeah.
But anyway, I don't know if that was just a one-off or whatever, but I'll never forget that one. But anyway, so fashion sense, whatever, whatever. But he's like, he's saying, "Shut up, MacIntyre, you suck," blah blah. And I mean, kind of getting to the point where he's being a dick. Well, my kid's mom, she's up in his face, and she's she ain't putting up with shit.
No.
So, and of course he's getting up, and I seen this, and I'm like ready to. I'm ready to kill him.
Yeah, mic drop. I'm
right, and nothing happened, thankfully. But ever since then, I kind of had a little different whatever on wit, and like I said, we ended up playing against each other. I was in Oklahoma City, and he was in. I think he just got sent down or something. He was playing in San Antonio, and everything that he said was 100% true. I think it was kids' night, and they were playing SpongeBob SquarePants, and the warm up, I'm telling him, I'm gonna break your legs. I mean, absolutely 100% true. Like I was to the point where I was
losing it.
Well, it wasn't losing it because the funny thing about it was, and I got, like I said, going back to it, I really don't have anything against Whit. He's, it is what it is. But I told the guys in the dressing room, I said, watch this.
You're going to make him shit himself.
Oh, for sure. Because, you get guys like that off their game. They don't want to play. And, I mean, Whit's a good player. He was a good player.
Yeah.
And nothing is, not saying anything bad, but, obviously there's an opportunity where a guy had a lot of talent, but, you question maybe his a couple other things. But you
got some free real estate in the brain there.
Well, like I said,
that's for your role too, right? It's like get those star players off their game. Right. So if you can do that with verbal warfare rather than.
So I mean, the whole warm up. And I was never ever a guy that would ever really talk on the ice, but I was like, watch this, and I knew his coach.
Yeah.
Tom Rowe was one of the first. He was the first guy that called me up in the American League with Lowell. So I knew Tom was pretty good. So I said, watch this, boys. So I'm on him like white on rice. Like, I mean, I'm just mother truck. Oh, yeah, every time. I'm going to break your leg. I'm going to break your arm. I will take a suspension. I don't care.
We'll take a suspension.
I don't care. And I don't think he might have, he definitely wasn't a factor in the game. I don't even think he really got on the ice. I think he might have got less ice time than me, if that's possible. But yeah, it was kind of one of them things where that and talking about just being Dan Bilesma actually kind of taught me that as later on in my career. It's like it's 90% physical and 10% mental, or pardon me, 90% mental and 10% physical. There was a kid from Minnesota. Clayton Stoner was another guy. He was kind of running around, and I can't remember this kid's name, but his last name was Bouchard, and he had one of them big M11 helmets.
Oh, it just looked like a grease ball.
Stupid mission one?
Yeah. Those are bad. Yeah, those are bad.
Okay, so you guys are quite a bit younger than me, but You watch Flintstones, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, well,
Only 10 years, not that far off.
You know the Great Gazoo?
Yeah.
Okay.
He looked like Gazoo.
He looked like the Great Gazoo. He had the visor, but he was like just a little fella. So I lined up against him. I said,
He looked stupid, like with a little guy with a helmet like that.
Yeah, he literally looked like Great Gazoo.
Amazing.
I lined up against him, and I said, listen. I said, this is the deal. I said, you can go tell Clayton to kind of settle her down, because he was kind of running around. He was playing he was doing his job.
Yeah.
But I had to do.
You got to do your job too. Yeah, exactly.
So I said to him, I said, listen. I said very nicely. I said, listen. I said, this is the
We're
deal.
gonna make a deal here.
That's what I told him. I said, this is the deal. I said, you go over and send this message to Mr. Stoner. I said, or I'm going to take and beat the living shit out of you. And he looked at me. He's like, well, what did I do? I said, well, nothing. He said, well, what do you want to fight me? I said, it doesn't matter. I said, you just make sure you go send that message.
I didn't let him know.
Okay. So sure enough, I didn't have, and like I said, I got lucky every once in a while.
So did he chill out after?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, that's so good.
But I know Cam Johnson. Do you guys ever follow the Cam and Strick podcast?
Man, his interviews on Chicklets are awesome. He's a wild man.
So there's another guy that I absolutely like. I have the utmost respect for him. But there was him and Ryan Reeves.
Oh, Reeves
playing in St. Louis, and like I said, Cam's a tough guy. I fought him I was in, where was I? I think I was in either Providence or Hartford. I can't remember.
Is he a big guy too? Or?
He's square.
Square, but he's not very tall though,
He's maybe 5'11".
Oh my god!
But he's just solid.
Yeah.
And he's a freaking warrior. I don't know Revo at all. Like I said, I don't know him at all. But all three of us were on the ice, and there was kind of a kerfuffle in front of the net. And I looked at both of them. I said, all right, boys, who wants to go to sleep? I said, Daddy's home. Daddy's home. Which one of you guys want to go to sleep? And I could say that because they can back it up.
Yeah.
But,
that's so
But, I mean, they're
that's one of the things that you said to somebody out of nowhere, they'll just like, what the fuck, man?
Well, like I said, those coaches that kind of helped me develop that side of the game, like Dan Bosma, he says, the 10 games that I played with Pittsburgh, I never got in a fight, and I felt kind of guilty about it. Like I said, and then he said, I went over and talked to him. I was like, listen, I said, I'm just beside myself. I can't buy a fight. Am I doing? He's like, don't worry about it. He said, you're doing your job. He said, you just got to go up and look at the guys all goofy and crazy. That's all you got to do.
Captain
I'm like, seriously. So. I kind of took that and I kind of ran with it, and like I said, after that, it was like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Well, you can do a lot of damage though. Like you get that free real estate in someone's brain.
Well,
that's it, man.
Dave Semenko was like the best at it.
Yeah.
Have you ever watched that? Was it Ice Guardians?
Yeah, we were talking about that on the way down. Because you mentioned Scott Parker. Like, he talked about when he wrapped chains around his hand and punched trees.
He's nuts.
That's fucking crazy shit, man.
Wow, Tony Twist, he'd sit there and just punch sand. Like, everybody. I mean, that's what he did. Like, he'd get his right hand so, like, I mean, it's incredible. Like, it's just a whole nother, those guys are on a whole nother level than I'll ever be on.
Yeah.
Like, I just fought just because, and I mean, granted, I never ever, from stacking bales all those years in farming and helping Dad, I was just, like I said, fortunate enough I never got hurt. My hands are pretty well, like I said, intact, and I got some issues here and there, but I mean, those guys were, to hear their stories, it's just like, it's crazy. But to listen to Dave and watch his video, like, it's just like,
and he could play too. Like, he'd score 20 goals.
Yeah, and Dave Brown's another guy. Yeah. Oh my God, Dave Brown's like the nicest guy. He's got a little bit of a high pitched voice, so it's like, the first time I met Dave Brown, he's like, "Hey Steve, how's it going?" I'm like, "Oh, you're Dave Brown."
It's like still under
Marty McSorley. There's another beauty. Like,
oh wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, so McSorley reminds me of Brashear, and he said you got tennis elbow from fighting Brashear.
Oh yeah.
But didn't McSorley was the one that fucked up Brashear in Vancouver, right?
Yeah, he was playing in Boston, and they were. It was kind of it was a sad deal, Like, I love Marty. Like I said, watching him as an Oiler growing up, and, just kind of following his career. Like, I was always a McSorley fan, and when I got to Edmonton, that was one of the first things I asked. I asked Sparky. I said, do you think Marty would mind if I wore 33? And Sparky's like, he said, absolutely not. He said, he'd love for you to wear 33. So I was like, okay, that's cool. So, that was pretty cool. I got to meet him and talk with him, and I ended up getting put on waivers, and then Florida picked me back up, and I got to fight Brashear. And like I said, I'm all about, and I mean, I know there's a code, and everybody talks about a code, but if I did something bad, I'm going to be the first guy to step up and say, hey, you know what, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, I crossed the line. Or if one of you guys did the same thing to me, and you guys apologize, I'll be like, hey, you know what,
it's cool.
Hey, we're good. I didn't agree with it. Whatever, we're good. Let's carry on. But for me, I have a hard time, when somebody says, hey, you know what, I was wrong. I did something bad. I'm sorry. You know what, be a man and be like, hey, you know what, I accept your apology. That bothered me when he didn't accept that apology. However, like I said, it's none of my business, whatever. But I was always like, you know what, if I ever get an opportunity, by gosh, I'm going to...
He's going to get it.
Well, I wouldn't say get it, because obviously Donald's pretty tough. He's he's a lot tougher than me. But like I said, I ended up fighting him down in Florida, and I got the better of him. And I always wanted to sign to Marty, your friend, Steve. And I got him a picture of me fighting Marty. And I said, stuck up for you.
That's cool stuff.
But hopefully one day I'll be able to see him again and take that picture to him.
So obviously you fought like some of the heavyweights in the league. Like you fought Bugard like 3 different times and stuff like that. Was there ever going into a game where you were dreading like, oh man, I gotta fight this guy tonight, or like what was that like?
I think every fight, it's just like them guys riding bulls. It's like they enjoy it, but there's that level of
fear's a factor.
Yeah, fear.
No matter what. Yeah.
It's a fear factor, and anybody that says no, I'm not scared is full of shit.
Yeah,
like
they're lying.
Yeah.
Like I don't care how tough or how good you are. If there's not a little bit of fear, you shouldn't probably be doing it.
Yeah.
But
there's something wrong with you.
Right. Well, yeah, that's everything. Because you're like some of the guys, my buddy Trevor Gillies, he's wired totally different than I am. He's one of my good buddies. Him and his brother Nate, they're 2 of my good buddies, and they are wired so different than me. They are intense. They want it. They just live and breathe it. And for me, it's like, the lead up necessarily. Like I'm not. That's where I get worried. But once I'm in it, it's like, okay,
we're good.
Relax. We're good. And you can see things happen. So that's kind of cool.
I think I remember seeing your name in the book about Bugard. It was Boy on Ice by John Branch, right?
Yeah.
And he wrote about the Wright brothers as well, actually. The Last Cowboys, I think it was called.
Yeah.
But I got to talk about that a little bit, and just being in the same world as him.
Oh, you mentioned guys like Wade Belak and Rippin, and there's so many, and Steve Matador would have been probably around the same time too.
Yeah.
Like that's.
I played a little bit with Monty. I want to say I can't remember exactly where, but we crossed paths somewhere. But actually, I started reading that book with Bugard, and I actually had to put it down once I kind of read that about. Like I think I was the last guy he fought. It was me or it was either me or Cartner. I think Cartner might have fought him before me, and I fought him twice in Madison Square Garden, and obviously he kind of beat me the first one, and then the second one I caught him a couple good ones, and that was kind of the. I had to, like I said, I'm sure it was a great book, but after that I had to kind of put it down and just be like, you know what, I'll take everybody's word for it, because it hit, obviously. Like even with the Writers of Honest thing, the guy from Calgary, you don't want to hurt anybody.
Yeah.
You want to win, but you don't want to hurt them. But then on the other side, it's like my mantra, like my goal was to make sure that, I wanted to hit him so hard that he never ever want to fight me again.
Yeah, yeah.
But at the same time, not hurt him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's a fine line you got to walk, right?
You don't want to hurt anybody, but at the same time, it's like, hey,
you're trying to keep your job too, right?
So it's
a really tough situation to be in.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like I said, you're 90% of the time your hands are tied, because if you go out and do your job the way you're supposed to and the way you're taught, 9 times out of 10 you're going to come up with an instigator penalty.
Yeah, you're coming out the bad guy, not more often than not.
Like the instance where I was sticking up for I really love the kid Magus PRV. So there's Magus PRV, Eberly, and Hall, and Mags and I developed a pretty good friendship. And his dad, just a great man. He passed away, and unfortunately, but Mags, like I said, he was the hardest working kid, I think, out of the three. Maybe not necessarily the talent that the other two had, but as far as work ethic. He came into the camp, and we were doing one-on-one drills, and I was playing defense because, they were short D-man, and everybody knows it's, me playing one-on-one. That's like, okay, dump the puck in. That's my job. Here we go. Right? I'm not going to beat anybody one-on-one. So I was playing defense. So anyway, he comes down, and he lost a puck, believe it or not. I'm playing defense, so I'm going back. I'm playing defense, and he didn't roast me too bad, but he lost the puck. And what he did was, instead of going and picking the puck, he just kind of went to the end of the line, whatever. And, him and I had a talk, and I said, hey, you know what? I said, everybody's watching. I said, and Sheldon Surrey said the same thing to me too. And that was another guy that I need to talk about too. But you never ever quit on a drill, right? That's just, hockey 101. So I went over and talked to him. I said, hey, just make sure everybody's watching, make sure you finish. And he could have said, you know what? You're a plug.
Fuck
but
off,
he didn't.
Basically, yeah.
And he said, thank you. He said, I really appreciate that. And like I said, that kind of planted that seed for him for the whole year. And I mean, I'm not taking, whatever. I'm not, whatever. He's his own man, but he was the hardest working player in practice. And he never quit on any drills after that. And like I said, so that being said, he could have said, you're a plug. Whatever. So anyway, we were playing Minnesota, and I always had that in the back of my head. I was like, this is a good kid. Watch out, be careful, keep an eye out on him. The other two, they can figure it out. I'm not a big Hall fan, but whatever. But anyway, he's just a little Saskatchewan boy, just whatever. Yeah. But anyway, I kind of kept my eyes open for Mags, and we were playing Minnesota at home, and I thought he got hit pretty high by Brad Stovitz. And Stauber and I, we didn't have any issues. He was always he'd ride the line. Yeah. He wouldn't necessarily cross it. Every once in a while he'd cross it. He would cross it, but then so I tried to keep him honest. Well, this night he hit him, and I thought he hit him pretty high from what I seen on the bench, and I'm screaming at Mags, get off the ice. I said, get off the ice, I'm coming. And I was already on the ice before Max was even at the bench. And Tom's yelling at me. And I beelined right for Stovitz. And it was a big pile up. And, I'm losing. And I was mad because
that's your
he's
boy.
Trying to hurt my buddy.
Yeah.
And needless to say, I kind of got the raw deal there. I got kicked out, and then me and Tom kind of had some words in the training room. But it was one of them situations where you're doing it because of your teammate and but like I said, you're handcuffed.
Yeah.
Because if you do it all the time, then you're going to be. We aren't going to be.
If you do it, you're the bad guy. But if you don't stick up for your teammate, then you're the bad guy, and you lose your job. So what do you do?
So it's like I said, it's a tough job, but then on the other hand, it's if you do it the right way, it can be very rewarding because obviously wherever you go, you're always watching out for the boys, and that's like I said, when you look at it that way, you're overseeing everything. You're keeping an eye on everything, and it's kind of
you're like the white hard hat on a rig.
Yeah,
except you got to punch a few people.
Right.
Because your coverall's dirty every now and again.
Right.
How's your head after all this stuff? Where are you at? Have there been any challenges along the way? Besides physical injuries, how's your mind? It's
for the most part, I think it's all right. Obviously, I joke and kid about having a MacIntyre hard head. But, there's, like I said, there's been some challenges. But, like I said, with my family and coming home here, that's been big. And just kind of being, grasping the more simple way of life has really kind of helped. And like I said, it's my dog. He's in my truck. He's been my big supporter, so he's been through it all with me. So like I said, it hasn't been a bed of roses, but it's had some issues and it had some trials and tribulations, just like everybody. But you wake up and you're thankful for everything that you've for all the things that you've come through, and like I said, you just kind of keep on putting one foot in front of the other.
Well, it's neat to see the evolution of like the stigma around it. Like it's like, kind of like a buzzword now, but like even with the Ty Posbon Foundation, like Ted and I have done a lot of work with them, and we're buddies with Ty and all that kind of stuff. But now it's people can have these conversations and be in those scenarios. It can be a lot more. It's a lot easier to get through some of the stuff. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's just like it's having that community and support around you just kind of helps you along that process.
Definitely, like I said, before, when I was growing up, it was you get your bell rung. Hey, you get your bell rung.
There's some modern
wasn't even a thing.
Yeah, now it's like
nobody knew.
Now it's okay. These concussions are like I couldn't even get through the movie Concussion.
It's tough. I still haven't even watched it.
It's tough.
It's tough.
It really is.
Yeah.
Like, seeing those guys and the football players, and then when obviously the hockey players, and then bull riders, and all these other guys that are in different events or whatever. And the other thing too is like we as sports, like football, hockey, baseball, soccer, whatever, basketball, like there's a players association. So for the most part, there's backup plan. For the Cowboys, there's not.
There's nothing.
And that's the thing that I've always thought about, like, hey, how can we unify the guys, the Cowboys? They're going out on the road on their own dollar, their own dime. They're having to dig up sponsorship, and I mean that's not an easy thing. For the average Joe going up and down the road, that's like
Well, if you're not in that top 5% of like people, you're not making a good living. Like, you're paying to go.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's where those are the guys that fall through the cracks, and those are the guys that if ever a guy could do something, come up with I know you got Cowboy Benevolent Fund, but doing something extra, getting all these guys on board. If that ever could be I would be jumping on board absolutely wholeheartedly, because you've got these different things. Let's talk, and nobody really understands the full effect of. Nobody's done your job. Nobody's ever unless it's the guys, it's your peers.
You've been part of it,
right.
yeah.
And that's anybody can go talk to a doctor or whatever, but the doctor, unless he's actually done what you've done, he doesn't understand it.
Get it?
No,
yeah.
he doesn't get it.
And I think nowadays we can talk as players and as competitors, whether it's rodeo or whatever. Now guys are saying, you know what, it's okay not to be okay. That was one of my very, very good friends of mine. She kind of pointed out, she's like, why are you lying to yourself? You're lying to yourself and you're lying to everybody. You're not okay. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I never thought of it that way, because you're a persona. You're looked at as a persona. It's like, okay, you're this big tough guy or
nothing
whatever.
Hurts you,
nothing
like,
hurt. This is the way you're supposed to be. And when I thought about it, I went home that night and I was like, you know what, like, oh my gosh, like it was definitely some soul searching to figure out what that meant. And once you figure out what that meant, it was easier to have these conversations. And I mean, like I said, I fought a lot of tough guys, and I have no problem saying, hey, you know what? I had issues. I've got issues. And it's okay. Everybody's got them.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think now, with the awareness is out there right now, I encourage guys that are listening to if there's something going on, like reach out to me or reach out to your peers, or that's a huge thing. Mental illness is no joke. Physical ailments is one thing, but the mental ailments is nobody trains for that.
No. When you mentioned like that conversation with yourself, like that's okay.
Wacey asked for OV.
No bows.
Wacey asked for OV and Bohemian, didn't get either.
That's my favorite thing about coming home is getting OV and bows. A Bohemian on tap is like one of the best draft beers around. I love it, man.
That's actually one of the things I've never experienced a Bohemian.
What? Really, dude? Oh, man. Jeez. Are you even from Saskatchewan? That was like one of the big things. We'd go to high school parties back in the day, and you'd always bring a case of Boa or OV, because you'd know if people were stealing your beer because nobody else would bring it. Right. So if someone's pulling your beers, it's like, yeah, give me a case of Boa or a case of OV, and then you'd make sure that nobody's stealing beers from you. It was awesome.
Yeah.
You mentioned Sheldon Surrey, and you had to bring him up, but we can go from there, or talk about some of your wildest teammates or funnest stories from the road. Like, you had to be on a fucking bus for a lot of miles, a lot of days.
Well, it's one of those things where it's like you mentioned earlier of like, don't ask you what teams you played for. It's like you didn't play for. So you have a lot of different people you've played with, different paths you've crossed. Like it's pretty cool.
It's well, I've actually thought about. There's actually been people where we sat down and talked, and I need to actually write things out and put it on paper. And like I said, I've forgot more stories than not, and like who some of the funnier teammates were, and one of the, like I said, the Sheldon story. This is so Shelly. He's like what you see, like when you see him on the ice, when you see him on Instagram, whatever. Like that's what he is. Like that's like he oozes like appeal like you wouldn't believe. Like
he's a good-looking guy.
I mean, I'm pretty straight. I mean, I'm straight as in a...
Oh, yeah.
Shouldn't say. Can we take that out?
pretty straight.
What I meant to say was a pretty straight shooting guy. Like, but you know what? I'll be honest. He's a good-looking dude, and
bit of a man dime.
He's man rocket for sure. Yeah.
I mean, Sheldon Surrey.
Yeah.
He shoot the puck 100 and some 100,000
Yeah, he's nasty at hockey and like good looking guy. It's not fair, man.
Just, like some of the stories, it's just like,
you did.
Are you even human? But the cool thing about Shelly is he was very he's humble. He remembers where he comes from. From Elk Point, Alberta, and I got to meet his family and such great people. His mom and his dad, rest his soul. Like his dad was such a super cool guy and. Overcame addiction. Like he was, both him, Shelly, and him, I just think the world of, and that all kind of started. Like I said, we were talking about Rolly and just how he was in the dressing room and how he treated me. It was pretty special. Like when I got my face broke, Eric Goddard broke my face and broke my orbital bone, and I didn't know it was broke. And I came out in the second period. Or actually, I went in, got stitched up, came back, hammered Chris Letang. Eric Goddard was barking at my door again, and I'm like, I'll fight you again. And Shelly kind of stood in there and said, no, you know what, I got this. And he kind of diffused the situation because he knew I was hurt. And but at that time, we didn't know my face was broke. Well, I came out the second period, or the third period, and went to blow a old cowboy snot rocket, and my face just blew up, and it was just oh my gosh, what, I'm yelling at my trainer like, Kenny, my face is, I can't see out of this eye, and what's going on? It just scared the heck out of me, and come to find out, I broke my orbital bone, and getting on the plane that night, it was pretty tough because that was the first big loss that I'd ever been handed, and not just a loss, but just an injury that, it's not something you just come back from. Yeah. Like it's a long. I think it was 3 months before I came back.
Oh, and in your profession, like that, 3 months is a long 3 months.
They brought in guys.
Yeah.
They brought in a couple guys to try to kind of help, bridge the gap. And you want to talk about mental.
Oh man,
I was a mental midget. Like I was a basket case. Because I mean. I get on the plane, and the first thing Mac teased, I'll never forget it. He's like, "Hey, Macker, you might want to think about, a little more defense in your fighting game." And I'm like, I looked at him point blank. I said, "Well, you know what?" I said, "A good offense is a better defense." And we just kind of, and I just kind of walked back to my plane seat, and I was kind of sitting up toward the front of the plane, and we got up in the air, and I'm kind of moping and kind of feeling sorry for myself, and I don't know, about an hour into the plane ride coming back home to Edmonton or going to wherever we were going, I can't remember. Sheldon Surrey comes up and sits down beside me. Smacker, how you doing? I said, well, kind of,
my face is broken.
Right?
Yeah.
I think we were actually going to New York City, actually. We were flying from Pittsburgh to New York City. So it was a pretty, quick trip.
Flight, yeah.
So he came up and said, hey, you know what, Macker? He says, don't worry about it. He said, how many times I've been knocked out, knocked down, different things. And I'm like, no. He says, don't worry about it. He says, it's all about how you come back. Mm-hmm. And I thought, you know what, this guy's an all-star player. He didn't have to do that to a plug like myself. And for him to come up and talk to me like that, I was like, you know what, I don't care what anybody thinks about Sheldon Surrey. That always, I don't forget that. I'm loyal to a fault. But like I said, he did that, and that was pretty cool.
What was the travel like, and you know, between the buses and the planes and going to these places and the hotels, and I mean, like, you guys probably lived through some pretty fun shit on the travel side of things, right?
But even like going on the town with a guy like Sheldon Surrey.
Oh well,
Yeah.
So there's different tiers. So
you would probably got some residuals there.
I'll tell you a funny story. Like, I can say this now because now I'm a fan. I'm not a player, so some of this stuff I can let out. But we were, I forget where we were at. Well, I ended up in Dallas, Texas, and of course,
Hell of a
Dallas.
town.
Been there.
I got lost there last week.
Yeah, Wacey actually got lost
How
there.
did you
We
get lost in
Well,
Dallas?
Well, I'll tell the story
you go
after.
first.
Yeah, you
It's
go
easy.
first.
We'll tell stories
But
next.
anyway, so I never been in Dallas before, right? So we're in Dallas, Texas. Dallas, Texas.
Yeah.
So
Did you bring your cowboy hat?
no,
Ah, dang it.
I always had my cowboy boots though. Always had a nice pair of Star Trianglers. So
Yeah.
that was
Ooh,
my
baby.
go-to.
Yeah.
Nice.
Everybody made fun of me. I don't care. But anyway, that's
cowboy shit.
that's another story. Actually, I'll tell you. That's a Kelly Buckberger story. I'll tell you that one out.
Oh.
But anyway, so we are in. I think it was. I want to say we were on a West Coast swing, and Eric Cole was late for the bus.
Uh-oh.
Like, 5 or 10 minutes late. Well,
Everyone else is already there.
on the bus.
Yeah.
And it was like,
The boys are going to give it to him.
I don't even want to know how much it was. But we went to Dallas, Texas, and all I can say is that big old tomahawk steak, bone-in steak, was on the house. Wasn't on the house. It was on Eric Cole.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So if you can imagine, okay, we're in Dallas, Texas. We go to this big fancy restaurant. Kobe beef, $32 an ounce.
Oh, my God.
Guys are ordering.
$300 steak.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Like the stupid stuff that, and of course I didn't know. I mean, Kobe beef. I was like, bone-in tomahawk ribeye. That's what I'm going for.
Yeah.
Like, so that's they brought it out. Like I said, it looked like something off the Flintstones. Like
Yeah.
Like a brontosaurus steak.
right.
Yeah. Holy shit.
But yeah, that was very, very. I don't even want to know how much that was.
Oh, man.
Well,
that's
for what?
crazy.
For like, is it 30 guys?
It was
Is it like,
yeah,
or
it
is
was the whole
like,
team. Yeah, I
so
bought
it's
dinner for the whole team. That
for
was
everybody.
Oh, that's
because he was late for the
Holy
bus.
Jeez.
So-
at least 10 grand, maybe more.
Oh,
Yeah.
but those guys, it's just like, hold on a second.
Whatever. Hey, spit out my pocket.
There you
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
I'm like one of the guys. I'm not going to name names, but one of the guys cleared in one paycheck what I cleared the whole year.
Oh, my God.
That's a
One
1-2
check.
week,
That's
1-2 week
that's
paycheck.
wild.
And was that Edmonton or Pittsburgh?
Edmonton, yeah.
Edmonton.
Yep.
Nice.
You probably
So-
figure out who that was.
Oh, I'm sure you probably guys
for a while.
figured out.
One thing I always love hearing about is like the rookie parties, and you mentioned earlier,
Yeah.
you're a
What
bit of
about
an
your
older,
rookie?
bit of an
Yeah, what
older
was your
rookie, like
27-year-old
Yeah,
rookie
see
party?
that.
Yeah, what
That's
happened?
and so who were the other rookies with you too?
Me, Liam Reddix. Well, Liam was my roommate, so who else? There was like 4 or 5 of us, I think. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But all I remember is it was really expensive.
Where did you have
Montreal. So Shelly set it up.
Oh, jeez.
it? Yeah.
So we're drinking, we're and the meals, like, okay, I'm thinking, okay, we're going to go to this big fancy restaurant, we're going to go to steakhouse, whatever, and we're going to actually get something to eat, right? No. Negative. We pay, and we get, like, this little, like, we get a 5-course meal. Yeah, it was good,
Yeah.
but I mean, like, give me a hunk
You're getting a little
of
serve.
potato and,
Ooh, was it Hemsky?
no.
He said he doesn't want to name any names. Come on, leave him.
Oh, yeah.
let him tell.
I'll
the-
never.
Yeah, let him tell the
You'll
story.
never know. I'll never tell. But
So Montreal. Oh, geez.
Montreal, and like I said, Shelly had just gotten traded from Montreal to Edmonton. So I mean, if you can imagine, like it was. Just
That
like,
was his town. That was his
God,
city.
it was just-
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Have you ever been to Montreal?
No, I want to go
Yeah,
so bad.
I have.
I want to go
Yeah.
so
I got pushed
bad.
down in the street there one time.
Push down the street.
I got pushed down in the street. Like
Oh.
I was wearing my cowboy shit, and we were at the tennis court for a bull ride, a PBR event. Jonas and the Massive Attraction was the halftime show
Right.
between the long round and the short round. And we were at we're at Mad Hatter's was one of the bars.
Okay.
And we're on Main Street. Some of the guys were at the Rippers. Like there was some stuff happening in that place. But we were staying at
The boys have told me.
yeah. We were staying at the hotel. railway hotel, like the Fairmont essentially in Montreal, right by the Bell Center actually. And
I would say that's one we stayed at too.
I ducked off, tried to go back to bed. It was like 3:00 in the morning. We had to come back to Hand Hills on Sunday, so I was trying to get some sleep for a couple hours. And I just ducked off by myself. I knew it was like a block or two away. And there was these 4 guys that were like came up by me and just laid it and pushed me down. Yeah, just pushed me down. And I like flew backwards, landed on my back, and I just got up and ran. I was like, I am by myself right now in foreign territory. I fucked off real fast. Got the fuck out of there.
Yeah, it's There's Montreal is very unique experience. Put it that way. Like I played in that Quebec Senior Semi-Pro League.
Oh, really? Oh shit!
That's another story.
Yeah.
Like, is there a part 2? Part 3?
I'm not. We have like 4 episodes out of this.
I get
so
to keep telling the stories, but yeah. Where did we end up?
In Montreal.
The Opera. I want to say it was the Opera.
Does the Opera mean the Peelers?
No. It was a bar, but it was it was set up like an opera house, and it was white. Really? Yeah, I can't remember. I think it was La Opera. I think, but honestly, it was at that point in time where it was like me and Rolly were hanging out, and it was like, yeah, cool. Hey, the guys, and I mean, it was fun. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not a huge partier. I mean, I like having a good time, but it just wasn't my element. My element is. Bonfire, having a couple beers, whatever. Yeah. That's my,
palace party.
Some whisk and playing crib, drinking.
But that's kind of more my style. So I was kind of, like I said, I go back into watching and
seeing it unfold.
Although, granted, like I said, I had a few pops and whatever. And
that's your rookie party. You got
La Belle Province. That was the next stop. That was I don't know if you, like I said, La Belle Province is like. You guys been down in Texas. You know what the Waffle House is, right?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay, well, La Belle Province is like the Waffle House of Quebec. Like,
that shit goes down in the Waffle House, dude.
Like poutine. You want to talk about? Oh my gosh. Me and Rolly. I think it was me and Rolly. We're sitting at La Belle Province eating poutine after we were making our way back to the hotel. But, yeah, it was pretty fun. It was and then the next day was even more fun. I'll never forget Liam Reddix. So he's red-haired, he's got a light complexion to begin with. Well, he was pale. Like he's
sick.
Almost yellow. Like the next day. Oh, it was so funny. Oh no. Poor guy.
That's awesome.
I mean, he was up at he was dancing on the bar and all the whole night. He was just like, Red Bull and vodka.
Oh, did you guys go, or you guys are in Montreal? You weren't in Quebec.
Yeah.
Because Curtis Lecition told us about Dago Bar in Quebec City, and he said it was just unbelievable. He took us there with the PBR, like I guess 25 or 30 years later. Right. And he told us about all the crazy times they had at that place.
I can imagine. Quebec is I played there and obviously
was
the
that
politics.
Muskegon or was that?
No, that was in the UHL.
So this was
Muskegon. So
Muskegon.
The Quebec Senior Semi-Pro League. I played with St. John.
Oh, okay.
The St. John Mission, and I want to say it was their first year.
You were only like 20, 21?
21, 22. Yeah. It was. That was an experience. Oh my god.
Well, because you got kicked out of another league, and then you ended up there, right?
So I got kicked out of the one league. I ended up playing Muskegon, which is in the United Hockey League. We ended up winning the title there.
Yeah.
And then the next year, I was actually going to go back to school and be go to Red Deer College and be going for my education degree.
Yeah.
And then these guys called me. I was living in the Hat working, and St. John called me.
Mid-season?
No, they were. It was in the off season.
Oh, okay.
And they called me and said, "Hey, you want to come?" Actually, no, it wasn't Medicine Hat. Where was I? I kind of get this. This is all kind of fuzzy. I think I was working at the pasture in Davidson. They called me, they called me from there, and I ended up going from there. Like I said, trying out. Literally, had just got off the plane. I hadn't practiced, hadn't played, and I'm fighting. We play in Laval, the first game in exhibition season, and I'm fighting Craig Martin, who was I had no idea who he was, but apparently he was a pretty tough guy.
Bitch, yeah.
He used to be a tough guy for the Red Wings, and I'm like, who is this guy? And I mean, I don't know who he is, but I'm fighting him. So, needless to say, I did okay, but I mean, I hadn't fought and I hadn't been on skates.
I'd been playing hockey, yeah.
So it was
wild, man.
It was
Quebec.
It was Wild West.
Jeez.
But yeah, like I said, I was there for I think 3 months. But and actually, the winner of the what was that tournament they had with the hockey fighters on ice? Like it was a Dean Mayron was my roommate. He ended up playing Muskegon the year before I got there, or the same year he got suspended or whatever.
Like the figure skating thing?
No. It's like the fight championship.
Oh, it's like a Goon.
Because they did the team like that in Goon. Yeah. Oh, I don't even know what that would have been.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So anyway, he ended up winning it, and but this was all before. Well, Dino took me under his wing and kind of showed me the ropes. Living in Montreal, and like I said, you couldn't ask for a better teammate or a better roommate for sure.
That's so wild. Did you ever spend any nights at the Roxy in Vancouver?
I never got to the Roxy.
Damn,
I never got there. Let me rephrase that. No, I don't think I ever got there because I was always out with my sister's lives out in Victoria, and she was living in Vancouver, so I always kind of hang out with them when I was there, like night before I go for dinner with them or whatever. And I mean, I never really went out a whole lot. Other than Nashville. In Nashville,
Nashville, that would be
Nashville. You partied?
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so Dallas. So we were at the market the other day, like the trade show market, and yeah, and Wacey.
Actually, I think I seen you in one of your little
on the
episodes
Snapchat.
where you walked. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was actually kind of
he saw what was going on.
Who's this fucking guy?
He actually got lost. We lost him. But so we I recorded a video and I said that Dallas has Wacey now because he left the room in the middle of the night. And left the bar
intentionally coming back, so left my phone, my wallet, my
everything.
watch, everything.
His shoes, everything left. And then I woke up in the middle of the night and the door was open. I was like, fuck. So I closed it.
Gone forever.
Yeah, I closed it and then woke up in the morning and Wacey was still not there. And I was like, what in the fuck's going on? He's in Texas. I'm like, well, fuck, he got kidnapped. He got
murdered.
He got murdered. He was drunk driving in Texas and had a wreck and he's in the hospital and he's got no phone, no ID. Like nobody knows who he is. I immediately thought there could be some bad shit that went down, but
where was he?
He was lost. But
I was lost.
We're gonna go with that.
I was lost. But then I was found. I roll up and everybody.
Where you found? Who found you? Nice Texas girl.
Yeah, there was somebody.
Yeah,
there's somebody there.
Yeah,
well, there you go. You're not really lost.
He was somewhere we didn't know we were.
Yeah, I didn't let anybody know where I was. I made a big sale though.
Big sale.
Business development 101.
You really did it. Yeah. But that's Wacey's getting lost story. But sorry.
Yeah.
It's a good story.
As
long as it's a good ending.
Good. It was really
you made
good.
a sale and met a nice lady. You're good.
It was. Needless to say, it was on brand for me. For whenever we go places, that's usually something that happens to me when we do that kind of stuff.
Right.
I wanted to ask a bit about playing at Pittsburgh with those guys. You said you only played a few games, but
I was there.
Sid and played with Flower and those guys and Latang and that crew.
That was right when they were winning it too, wasn't it? Right in the mix of it.
Right. Well, right before I got there, they won it, but I got to play. Like I said, I was in the organization. I want to say for 2.5 or 3 years. I can't remember exactly, but probably the most fun I ever had.
11, 12 to 12, 13.
Okay,
in Pittsburgh and Wilkes-Barre.
Way off. 2 years. 2 years.
Yeah, but 2 full seasons though.
It was great. I loved it. Absolutely loved the guys.
Scranton.
They went into camp and it was funny. I didn't know anybody other than
Was that a waiver claim from Pittsburgh, or
no,
was that a trade or a sign?
I signed.
So you were UFA.
Yep.
Signed with Pittsburgh.
Yep. Talked down Bosma, and he wanted me to come in and kind of. And that was kind of when Sid had his issues with concussions, and I was like, okay, sure,
I'll go.
Yeah, sign me out. So I was all about it, and I had a good summer working out, and what a great opportunity to. Well, the first day I get in there, Ray Shiro, the general manager, I always, like I said, I call him Mr. Shiro because he's such a cool guy. He comes up and says, "Hey, Macker, how's it going? How's your wife and your kids?" He knew my kids' names. He knew my.
Had you guys met many times before?
Never met him before in my life.
Really?
Mary Lemieux, same thing. Hey, Steve, how's it going? I'm
That's so cool.
Really?
This is Mary Lemieux talking. And then that's when I met Ty Domi. Ty and him are pretty tight, right?
Yeah.
So I got to meet Ty. That was pretty cool. And but that being said, my first skate, I'm out there and I'm just like, oh my gosh,
There's Sid, Gino,
Tanger, Flower, Brooksy, Polly's out there, Stalzy's out there. Like, all these guys.
There's a banger of team, man. Oh my God.
Was
Kunitz there yet?
Cooney's out there.
Oh man,
he's a beauty.
Is he a beauty? Oh, he's from Regina, isn't he?
Yeah. Cookie's out there, who is like undercover. I actually really like Cookie. Like,
would you play like Bugsy too?
No, he was there. He went to Tampa.
Oh, okay. His Bugsy stories are my favorite. They're funny as shit.
Yeah, I heard some stories. But yeah, like it was such a cool experience to hang out with those guys. Like, it's just another level of, like, I thought I made it when I'm, and no offense against Edmonton, but it's.
You're a Flames fan, so you can offend Edmonton as much as you want, man.
At least you're not a Canucks fan.
Are we going in the parking lot later?
I might have to. Get my dog out. He'll take care of you.
It doesn't take much.
but no, like, I mean, obviously we had Shelley and Hammer and those guys like that, and then playing, and those guys are stars. Don't get me wrong; those are all-star guys. But then you go play with like Sid and Gino,
and they just won it.
And and they're wanting to win it again, and it's just like, holy smokes! Like, this is like all-star. These guys know my name.
Yeah.
They want me on their team. I serve a job, like I serve a purpose. Like, this is my job, is to make sure that these guys, when anybody touches them, that's it.
Dunzo. That's so cool.
And when I kind of looked at it, I embraced it. It was just like, oh my, and that's why I said, like, 10 games in, it's just like, I'm just chomping at the bit, because it's just like, I want to, am I doing my job?
Yeah.
They sent me down to the American League, and oh my gosh, I had a hell of a good fight with this guy. Probably actually, I never even named his name. Probably one of the toughest guys I ever fought. Eric Nielsen.
Yeah.
Eric Nielsen. Tougher than nails. PL3 is another guy. Like, those two guys, I had my hands full. Yeah. Like, those are two guys that are like, they're light heavies, but they're tougher than nails. And these are the guys I had to deal with. But, and those are the guys that could hurt you, because they were, 6'2", 6'3",
wiry bastard,
built like freaking brick shit houses, and it hit hard and fast. And but as far as playing, Pascal Dupuis, there's another guy,
he's sick
just
too.
A great guy.
Man, that's so cool.
Then the next year, like Douglas Murray, it was another guy. They called him Crankshaft because he just cranked up. Guys at the party would be kind of going out, like, we always had like Christmas parties or
Halloween parties. What was your best Halloween?
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Actually, Pittsburgh. I would have to say Pittsburgh. Although Edmonton, we had some slammers.
Bangers, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Man, that's
but
so
Pittsburgh, just the fact that I had probably the coolest costume I think I dressed up as the Wolverine, and I had the long hair. And I let the beard grow, and I had like the big chops.
Ooh.
And the ex had and I had my boy. He had these Wolverine, like the toy,
the claws or whatever.
Claws.
Yeah.
So I had one on each end. I had the
nice.
leather jacket with the stripes on it, and a little white, the T-shirt, white tee or whatever. I don't know if that's whatever. And
that's so awesome.
I might not have been as jacked as Hugh Jackman was, but I mean, I was probably.
You were feeling good,
Did a couple push-ups in the bathroom,
Just packing out some little dumbbells, just doing bicep curls for you going to the party.
That was pretty cool. And like, the other thing too is kind of seeing Sid, let his hair down a little bit. That was pretty cool. Because
was he fun?
Sid's such a cool guy. He's such a people stereotype him as just being very vanilla, very boring. But once you get out of his element, he's such a good dude.
Yeah.
Like, he's just like one of us. Other than
once you get him out of
extremely good at hockey.
Yeah.
But
he's a freak.
Right.
But get him out of the press, because he's got to have a refined image for the press side of things.
And that was the thing too. Is like, I got to know him on a personal level, and like I said, I'm able to throw him a text here and there and just say, hey, how's it going? Just BS with him a little bit, and he's just such a genuine good person. Kind of the type of guy that you'd let him date your sister.
Yeah,
that's the kind of guy he is.
Good dude. Yeah,
that's
cool.
But yeah, like, all of the guys in Pitt were great. You, as a role player, you develop a different relationship with them because you're in and out of the lineup, and it's pretty cool.
Were you ever at the end of a Marc-Andre Fleury prank?
No. But let me tell you. So we're in a 6 or 7 game road or losing streak. We're in a skid, and what's his name? Simon
Dupre?
Yeah,
Dupre.
I think so.
Yeah.
So
Brooks Orpik was on your team then too.
Oh, Orpik.
Derek England. Oh wow.
Ego was a great guy.
Thomas Vokoun.
Volky wasn't there when I was there. He was in Florida.
So must have got traded later on.
But anyway, we were on a skid, and like I said, it was either Flower, Duper, somebody.
Iggy was there that
Iggy
year.
Iggy.
Oh shit.
That's another story too.
Eggy baby.
Brandon Sutter and James Neal early on.
Yeah.
Dang.
Well, that would have been the year.
This is maybe a different year. This is 12-13.
Yeah.
Maybe I got the wrong year. No, you're on the list here.
No.
Oh, you got one game on the list though.
Yeah, that was a game in Ottawa when.
Okay.
Yeah. That was another funny story. I got lost.
I love this, man. This is awesome.
But so anyway, we're getting on the ice. Well, we look up Console Energy Center is probably one of the nicest rinks. It's beautiful.
That's an older barn too.
Well, now it is.
Yeah.
It's brand new when I played.
I guess, yeah.
But here is Simon Dupre's. His clothes are hanging from the clock.
Oh no way!
And there's a big name bar across his back with his number, and his clothes are hanging from the scoreboard. So we're getting out. We kind of what the? We're out skating around and no pucks.
Oh no!
So we're out skating around and we're like, oh shit, is this gonna be a bagger or what's
and
this
this is during
be?
the losing skid.
Yeah.
Oh no!
So we get out there and we're skating around and Tony Granato comes out and he looks up and Todd Rudin comes up and he looks up and then Dan Bosman he comes up and he looks up and he gets steps on the ice, blows the whistle. He comes over and everybody, of course, we're just hustling.
Is this home barn or?
Yeah, this is in, no, this is in
at home.
In Pitt, yeah.
Okay.
In Pitt.
Okay.
So we get there, and of course, everybody's like, oh, we're like, oh shit. He's like, looks up, he looks at us, he looks up, he looks at us, and he's like, you guys think this is effing funny? And you could have heard a pin drop. And Aaron Asham, he's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I think it's pretty funny. I think it's hilarious. Whoever did it, that's pretty awesome. And of course, Dan is just trying to keep a pretty straight face, and he's just like, he started busting out laughing. Of course, we're all like, he's like, all right, guys, line up. He said, that's a pretty good one. Line up. So we got pucks, and we ended up lining up, and I think, we ended up breaking our losing streak. But, it was just one of those things where those kind of guys, you really appreciate those kind of guys. And then a coach that realizes that you need some of that, that humor and that release.
Break it up a bit, yeah.
Because everybody can be,
serious all the time.
Right.
Man.
Everybody can be serious, but at the same time, it's okay, it's a game. And
you're playing hockey.
Right. There's times where it's going to be hard, and there's going to be times where you have to break it up because it gets, you come to the rink and you're just vibrating because you're trying too hard.
Yeah. Grip the stick too tight.
Right.
And we're back.
What other funny stories again?
About Iggy. Iggy, yeah, we got to get into Iggy, man. That's, as a Flames fan, Iggy is God.
Oh.
We're back.
Back?
Yeah.
All right.
Jerome again.
Our boy Iggy.
So, all right. So you want to hear the story about Iggy?
Did you say one game with Pittsburgh in Ottawa in 2012-13?
Yep. Yeah, I got called up for
one game.
For one game. And it was the end of the game. I think it was the end of the season. And it was the first game that they had played with Erik Karlsson. Well, the whole Erik Karlsson, Matt Cook incident.
Oh,
where
yeah,
Matt
it was his Achilles thing.
Yeah,
oh, shit.
And like I said, Cookie he was a little pain in my ass, but he's a good dude. He really is. He's a good guy. Or at least he was to me. And so they called me up for that. And jeepers. This Mike, so they called me up for this game, and to kind of, they had Chris Neal.
Oh, yeah, Chris, he's a tough son of a bitch, too.
Oh, shoot. Who else did they have? They had some tough guys there.
Was Dion there?
Matt Cassian. Duh. So Matty's there, right? And I train with him all
Zach's
summer.
brother?
No, I don't know if they're related.
Oh, really? Okay.
Matt's a big dude. He's 6'4". He looks like a big freaking grizzly.
Yeah.
Like, you know, he's a big dude. So Matt and I were jawing at each other, and of course, he's such a good guy. Like, he really is a good guy, but he knows the deal. And he said something to the effect that, you know, something's going to happen. I said, well, Matty, I said, you're going to have to come to me. Whatever. That was like why I got called up. And, you know, me and Chris Neal, whatever.
Yeah.
But before all this happened, I got called up. And the first thing that, you know, I get called up and I'm in the practice ring. I got all my crap. And all of a sudden, Sid comes running down the hallway. He's like, Macker, hey, come on in. We need you in the training room. So I'm like, okay. So I go walking in the training room. Well, here they got Douglas Murray. And Doug Murray is a big, big man. Like, he is a house.
Yeah.
Well, Doug and I have rather large craniums. So instead of a large helmet, we're probably thinking like extra large. So these idiots are trying to figure out who's got the bigger noodle, me or him. And so they got the tape measure, and they're measuring their heads. They're like, oh, I got $50 saying that Macker's head's bigger. You know, they're back and forth. I'm like, seriously, guys? Like, hey, how's it
You're
going?
probably like a 7 3/4. Though.
No, I'm actually not. I'm a 7 5/8.
I'm only one size off.
I got a huge head, but he actually had a bigger head.
Really?
So, but yeah, I mean, just the funny.
Did you guys know Oprah is a size 8?
Huh?
Oprah, big head.
Her
Oh
hair
my
too,
gosh.
probably. Eh?
I don't know.
But
Smithville trivia.
That's a little bit of gee whiz information there. But anyway, so they just traded for Iggy, right?
Oh yeah.
So Iggy, like you said,
He's at McMillan too.
I don't know, but so we're in Ottawa, right? So there's 3 stalls. There's 3 stalls, and then there's
CTC,
a door.
Canadian Tire, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
There's a stall.
Canada.
There's 2 doorways, one going in the shower, one going into the bathroom or whatever, right? And they've got Teddy Richards is one of my buddies. He's the equipment manager or the assistant equipment manager, and Dana Hines is the manager. And you know, a couple of, like I said, well, they put me in between Brooks Orpik and Doug Murray. So the 3 biggest mutants on the team, and we're sitting like us 2 idiots right now. We're like this, right? So anyway, long story short, I'm sitting there telling stories, kind of the same thing, and I go, Iggy, I said, you remember the time we were in Calgary, and of course, or Edmonton, and you're playing in Calgary, and he's kind of giggling because he knows what's going to happen. Well, we were playing in Calgary. In Edmonton. All right, so the Battle of Alberta was a huge thing for me. Like, I got up, like, that's what I watched all my life. Yeah. I grew up watching that rivalry. Come to find out, I actually hate Vancouver more.
Really?
I can't stand them buggers. I wouldn't cheer for them if they're... Yes, I wouldn't cheer for them if they're the last team on Earth. But, that being said, we're playing against Calgary. And Ole Jokinen.
Oh, yeah.
For some reason... I did not like Ole Jokinen. Like, he was just...
The Big Mac meal.
He was... Pardon me?
Big Mac meal.
Oh, he just was... Like, just... He's just one of those faces that you just want to smash. He just was that guy. He just was pissing me off all game. Like, all series throughout the whole year.
Oh,
and I just wanted to kill him. Well, there's a stoppage of play, and I mean, I'm looking for it.
Yeah.
Well, Iggy grabs me, and I mean, I'm losing it. Iggy grabs me... He grabs me by the scruff of the neck and kind of ties me up and says, hey, Macker, have a little bit of class here. And it's like I was like a little whipped puppy dog.
Yeah.
It's like,
okay, Mr. Ginla.
Okay, Mr. Ginla. That's exactly what I said. I was like, okay. So we're like I said, we're in Ottawa, and I was like, hey, you remember that time when you grabbed me? Of course, you know, and he doesn't say a whole lot. Right? He's a pretty quiet guy, and of course the whole room was just busting laughing.
That's fucking tough.
I'd have had my hands full with Iggy, but
he's a tough son of a bitch too, man. That fight he had with LeCavalier in the playoffs was unbelievable.
It was 2 warriors going. I played against LeCavalier in Bantam, but yeah, he was a cool guy, just a super nice guy.
Man.
How'd you play against LeCavalier in Bantam?
Notre Dame.
He was in Notre Dame.
Oh.
Hound.
Did you guys talking about the game? Did you guys ever see that interview with him and the Boston?
He's a Boston man.
Nobody knew who he was.
There's a snowstorm in Boston. They just had a random Boston man. It's Jerome McGinley.
It's like, hey, what do you think of the storm?
Well, I'm from Canada. This is
no
normal
big deal. Yeah.
It's just fucking Jerome McGinley.
Holy.
What? So, okay. Before we're getting towards the end here, but before we wrap up, one player I wanted to ask about is Sean Avery. Did you ever have any run-ins with that guy?
Well, he was a catalyst that kind of started a little bit of a shit show in New York, actually. Me and Derek Boogar just fought, and then I want to say he punched Laddie Schmid, and then it was kind of a big melee. And other than that, no, I never did have a lot to do with it. But like I said, I kind of listened to his podcast right now, and he's actually seems like I actually kind of have to giggle. I've watched his YouTube video with him cussing out the
people in the bike
guys
lane.
in the bike lane.
Oh my god, they're so funny. It's so funny, man.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed his book too. It was a pretty good book.
His book gave me a whole new outlook on him.
Yeah.
As a fan, you see the shit he did on the ice, and then you read his story and understand why he did why he was the way he was.
The Marty Brodeur stuff.
Oh man,
chirping Brodeur over all the shit went down. Didn't Brodeur leave his wife for his
brother and his sister-in-law?
Yeah, some wild shit. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's wild.
Unless, like I said, you don't know what a guy's like unless you walk a mile in his shoes.
Oh, that's
and that's like I said. To have him on your team, I think he would be. Like I said, he'd be a pain. He'd make my job one of two ways. He'd make it easier. He'd make it harder. Either way, it's not that big of a deal. I'd still have a job.
He's that guy like I mentioned before, Macachuk. What do you think about him? As a Flames fan, I love Macachuk.
Well, as an Oilers fan, hate him.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like Brad Marchand. Like to have him on your team.
I like Brad.
But in Canada, Brad Marchand, like him. Boston, hate him.
Right, but like I said, they're those guys that you want to have on your team, like the Kachucks. They play hard. They're going to go through the wall, whatever they got to do, and they're in the right place at the right time, and they've made a career of it. And like I said, their dads, they come from pretty good genes. So
yeah.
Big Walt, he's
Big Walt.
He was a big unit.
Oh man,
big power forward. I think he was kind of him and Talkett and all those guys. They were all kind of the power forwards.
And Wendell and those guys they're unreal. Hey,
well, obviously Wendell Clarkson,
Kelvington's own.
Right, he's kind of in his own league.
Okay, one more question before we get to the end. I have one
last question.
Was there
two more questions?
Two more questions. First question: was there ever somebody in your career that you just you wanted a guy like Macachuk or a fighter who just wouldn't give it to you? Every game he just piss you off, just rub you the wrong way, kind of like Ole Jokinen style. Is there anybody else
that you wanted to fight? You never did?
Yeah, never got a chance to, or just he just rubbed you the wrong way and just had that face you wanted to punch.
I want to say it was Tom Sestito.
Didn't you? He played in Edmonton, didn't
he? Yeah, I think he did.
Did you try?
He was in Vancouver.
Oh, really?
Oh, okay, yeah.
He was one of those guys. He did he played the role. He did. He got paid well, and he did well. Like you said, I think he played in Pittsburgh or with the Wilkes.
He's somewhere around, yeah.
But yeah, I just seen his face again here the other day, and I was like, oh,
I want to punch that face.
Right. But I'm sure, like I said back then. And that just kind of came to me while we were sitting here talking to it. It was the first name that came to me, but what was his name? Chris Millette. He played in Kelowna. He was another guy that he actually broke my nose. I think it was sideways on the side of my face one time. He played. I want to say he started out in Kelowna, and we got in a line brawl down in Moose Jaw.
Nice.
The Blades against. Imagine
Crush
that, Warriors.
Probably.
Yeah, and I got into a fight with Millette, and he had his fist down to his ankles, and I come skating into one and just bang! And literally, I think my nose was on the other side of my face.
Oh no!
And then he hit it again, and then it was oh no! My eyes were watering, and all I can remember was I grabbed him and threw him on the ice, and I was trying to bounce his head off the ice. I couldn't hit him because I couldn't see.
You couldn't see anymore.
Oh, you want to talk about painful? That was like I said.
That was brutal.
Okay, one more thing I want to ask you about is
I got another one too. But, scoring a goal in the NHL.
Okay,
we got to ask about that too.
Well, I can say this with all honesty. Actually, two things. My first goal was against Washington. I was the highest paid player per shift per game that night.
Who scored?
And I outscored Ovechkin that night. How many guys can say that?
Not many people can say that. That's pretty cool, man. Hell yeah!
You were paid better than Ovechkin at that time.
At that night.
That one
per
night.
Per shift. Paid.
Okay.
All right. I broke
quick math. Here we go.
What do you think for 56 minutes of the game? I'd sit there and be like, well, I'm the highest paid player per shift per game.
Yeah.
Kind of a big deal.
Work that into your contract.
Right.
Points per shift. Points per shift.
Right, But, no, I ended up scoring my first goal was against Washington. And
who'd you score on? Yeah, who's the goalie?
Jose Theodore.
Oh, take that, Frenchie.
Old twisted wrister. I think it was like hand over hand. I mean, that's the funny thing. It's so funny. Like, so ironic. Like, we can talk about Whitney talking. I had a muffin for a shot. Well, you know what? That was the one thing I could do. I could shoot it, but I never had the opportunity to shoot it. Or when I did, it was like, what do I do? Dump it in the corner. 2-on-1, dump it in the corner.
I don't want to get yelled at. Put it in the corner.
Get it deep. But like I said,
whenever me and Teddy played beer league together, my man, just put it in deep.
Right. Muck it out. Mucking and grinding. But
so stupid.
But yeah, it was. I think it was a twisted wrister from the top of the circle.
Amazing.
But and then the last one, like I said, I scored against Mika Kiprasov.
No, my boy. That's my hero.
And I wasn't sure if I was going to fight somebody or not. Like I thought I scored, but I wasn't sure. And then somebody was hitting me in the back of the pants, and I was turned around, and it was like you could see my face. And then Kyle Brodziak's like, "You scored!" And I was like, "Well." I love playing with Brodsy. He was such a good dude.
Holy fuck, that's
him
awesome.
Him and Colin Fraser were two of my favorite lineies. JF Jocks. He was a
my face hurts.
Like JF. Sorry, go ahead.
So the one fight that we watched on the way here that we wanted to ask about was fighting Robin Big Snake. So because I played against Robin when I played senior in Nanton, and so Tim, my buddy was telling you before, he fought Robin, and he's the same kind of guy as you, like just super gentle, wouldn't hurt a fly, but just like he'll fight you if you want to fight him.
Right.
that was a wild video. Robin's not a big guy.
No, he's pretty stoked, but honestly, I can't there's a little bit of history I want to say because he was in Hartford, and I was in Hartford, and he ended up fighting. Can't remember if he fought Grenier, Gillies, or Purington. Talk about a tough team. I'm serious. We need to go like Hartford. We had the toughest team by far. I was a lightweight. We had Trevor Gillies, Marty Grenier, Craig Weller, Garth Murray, and myself on a line.
Damn.
And we got a line brawl against Springfield.
Oh my God. That's scary shit, man.
I think that was in 2004.
Jesus, man, that's wild.
That was like I said when the American League. Well, I was during the lockout.
So be a lot of good players down too.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
So, yeah, it was. Talk about the Wild West. That was the beast from the East. It was like I said. Every night there was, guys fighting and lion brawls and.
Did you ever bump into Biz Nasty?
No, I never have. We never crossed paths. I can't even say that I even know him.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
But like I said, he's obviously done.
It's cool what he's done with it, man. It's
very well for himself.
Hell yeah, man! It's
he
great.
set himself up obviously after hockey with the Twitter thing, and you can't help but root for guys like that. They've
seen
done
opportunity
well.
and do it, man. It's great.
This whole thing with what's the hockey deal he's on in
ESPN.
Oh, the TNT.
Yeah.
Man, that is fucking awesome stuff.
Yeah.
Him and Gretzky chirp each other. I think that's pretty funny.
Man, he asked Steve Eisen the other night about what he does in his personal life because they always chirp him on the podcast about smoking weed all the time.
Is that for real?
So what the deal is? They're talking to Kirby Doc, and he was like a third overall pick, and Stevie Eisman interviewed him, and he was like, so do you smoke weed? And everything was just make fun of Stevie Y just lighting up doobies all the time. So they were the episode before Biz went on to interview Stevie Y, they dared him to ask him about his personal life. So Biz on national TV asked Stevie Y what he does in his personal time, and Stevie Y just was speechless. He's like I don't want to say it on national TV.
Yeah, he started giggling. He turned beet red. And then it's pretty funny.
And then Chicklets ran with it. He's like, Stevie Y confirmed bong ripper. Love that.
Well, so speaking of that though, how's it been for you after hockey, as far as when you played in the, how's it been afterwards that way as far as?
It's been an adjustment.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. It's been a tough adjustment, but at the same time, I got in the fire department. I was a firefighter for 4 years.
Nice.
And absolutely loved it. Well, a little less than 4 years, sorry. I absolutely loved it. Like I said, I kind of wish that I would have maybe picked that up a little sooner than I did. But like I said, the guys at the firehouse, bunch of beauties, and
kind of almost like a hockey team too.
For sure. To me, in some instances, we're tighter because you go into a fire or something like that.
Like those guys,
like you're sticking your lack for a better term, sticking your nuts out on the line for your buddy, which you can do. Like you said, you do that in hockey too. But this is life or limb, or life or death, and you're always watching out for different things. And like I said, I loved it. I'm was cut out for it. I'm still try to possibly get on here with the volunteer station here in town. Awesome. But I love it. Like I said, you're pretty much a big kid. You get to go ride around on a big red fire truck with blinky lights and a big squirt gun. It's a pretty good deal. Hang out with your buddies.
Fun fact: I'm banned from the Calgary Firefighter Hockey League.
Oh, really? What did you do?
So they have every year they do a 3-on-3 tournament. It's for like firefighters and first responders, and I have a buddy who's a firefighter in Calgary, and they needed a goalie, so they call me up. So we go and win.
Timbo?
Colby Charters.
Okay.
He's actually from around this area. But anyway, so they called me up and need a goalie. So he's like, man, we need a goalie, but make sure you come here, shave your face because you're supposed to be a first responder.
Right.
So whatever, I shave and we go play, and we win the tournament. And then we go, and there was 2 different tournaments, for the south departments and the north departments, and they had a final game. We played at the Corral, and we won that game too. And then all of a sudden they found out that I wasn't part of, I wasn't a first responder, so now I'm not allowed to go back to these tournaments anymore.
Oh, no.
So I'm too good. I'm too good for the Calgary Fire.
Did you guys get the trophy and have a decent party at least?
We got a pizza party after.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. But that's why I'm banned from the firefighter league, because I'm too sick at hockey.
Wait, so better wrap it up here.
I don't want to, but oh, man, I can sit here and talk all day with Steve. This has been so much fun, man. Thanks for taking the time to chat with us today. I know you got a big game, the team's got a big game tonight and whatever, but the one question we ask all of our guests, what is your definition of cowboy shit? And it's funny because we haven't really talked much cowboy shit, but we have talked some cowboy shit. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a more of an essence than anything.
Cowboy shit. I'm sure you probably come up with some different answers, but
that's my favorite question.
Honestly, like I said, after Ned Ropen or Brandon Cavs, like I said, buddy of mine here last year, cowboy, that lifestyle is hanging out with your buddies and having a couple pilsners or a couple
bohemians,
whatever. Up and having a couple whiskeys after the brand after a hard day's work, with a smile on your face. That's to me what that way of life, cowboy way of life, and like I said, is most important to me, or what I think of it. I'm sure you probably come up with some different opinions of it, but going up and down the road with your buddies. Going to a roping or something like that. That's obviously a lot of fun too. But hanging out with your buddies and after the work's all done, having a cold beer on a fire and telling stories and shooting the shit and singing songs.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. We're definitely have to do a part 2 because I think we just scratched the surface on some of the story. My face legitimately hurts. It's been I fucking love this shit, man. It's so.
We haven't even got into the funny cowboy stories yet.
I know that's just it. We were discussing mostly hockey stuff, and there's probably so many more cowboy stories to do. So we definitely have to book in a round 2 here soon. It'd be great.
I'll tell you some funny roping stories and some ranch rodeo stories. There's some good ones.
Score early, man. Yeah, I love it.
We go through Kindersley a couple times here and there, so we'll do it again.
Well, if you're ever in Calgary, make sure you hit us up.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
We'll get to Calgary every once in a while. Try to stay away from the big cities.
Nah, fair enough.
Well, thanks again, Steve. This was awesome.
Thank you guys for having me.
All right, welcome back to Cowboy Shit. I'm Ted. He's Wacey. Thanks for tuning in, being with us this long. Wacey, this last weekend, we went on another buddy's
ski trip.
Yeah, on another buddy's bachelor party. Had a pretty large time in Kimberley, BC. Did a little staking out to maybe bring back the Cowboy ski race. So we'll see see what that looks like. But if you want to go to the ski race, there's a few people that we did a poll. A lot of folks like the idea. I don't know how many actually would be able to make it, but just wanted to throw it out there and see what we figure. But that was kind of fun though.
It was sweet, man. Heck of a weekend. First ski day of the year for me.
Yeah, me too.
Same for you. Yeah, it was awesome, man. Some of the best conditions I've ever had on a ski day, like +2 degrees Celsius, and the snow was awesome. The crew of the lads was an awesome group of dudes. We had a really good time on Friday night, so we were moving pretty slow in the morning, but yeah, I made it happen, man. It was sweet. Nobody got hurt. I had one pretty big wreck, which was more comical than anything, but hey,
I didn't see it happen.
Still here to tell the tale. We were hauling ass. It was
you wiped
funny.
out, but you didn't even die.
Man. Didn't even die, man. It was close. Good thing.
That's good.
Good thing. We did a thing for a long time where falling off was part of the gig, so you learn how to fall, in a sense, right? So
it's true. It's very true.
So yeah, it was good, man. Hopefully, I think that Kimberley would be a sweet spot for the ski race too. It's a cool little town, fun little community. We went to the Junior B hockey game that evening after we skied, which was super fun. I love checking out some small town hockey. Yeah, it was good. It was a perfect Canadian getaway weekend.
I think Kimberley would work for the ski race because of the destination aspect to it. That I think is a cool part of it. And the other side of it is the setup at the base area. So they've got like a big like open bar area and like hotels right on the hill. So we could basically you could like come and park for the weekend and you wouldn't even have to drive again.
So it's a good setup for like a festival style event. It's like a winter festival more than just a ski race.
Yeah. So that's more what we want to look for, what we want to do.
Yeah.
With it. So I think it could really work and get the town involved and have a lot of cool shit on the go there. So, yeah, and I also think that from the ski race or from the ski day that I'm probably gonna wear those pit vipers a lot more often now. They're pretty sweet.
They're just sweet, man. I'd wear that outfit more often skiing than anything else. I like just the vibes of that, you know.
True.
So it was good. Heck of a day.
The other part of it though, in the evening at the hockey game, Cole Regan, we found him at the hockey game. He's wearing a competitor's hat. So we knew
he did not like that.
Yeah, so we knew he must be close to, if not a fringe fan, I might know about cowboy shit. So we gave him the buckle I was wearing. I know one of our new Montana cowboy shit buckles. He was pretty pumped.
We flagged him down.
So
had a little conversation with him. Got his head straight.
That was pretty sweet. But
that was awesome, man. It's cool.
Good weekend there. But Wacey, you had a couple questions you wanted to pose.
There's a couple things that I was talking about this with some people at work, and it's like the different tiers of pizza. So yeah, like it's one of those things where you have like everybody kind of has like their go-to chain that they always get. Then you kind of have like your greasy one when you're hungover and you just want some greasy pizza. That's your kind of your middle tier. Then you have your top tier, like super fancy style pizza, like the traditional Italian, like made in a fire oven pizza. So I wanted to ask you, Ted, what are your pizza tiers?
Okay, so top tier pizza is the pizza that Storm makes. That's the best stuff. You can compare that with
paint me a picture, man.
Pepperoni and cheese and some nice, just basic pepperoni cheese and a little bit of pizza sauce. Just easy. Nice. Homemade dough though. Homemade dough. So good. Then you got like the high level pizza. Then you got like Una, where it's like they put maple syrup on it. It's flat.
Una would not be a tier 2 pizza.
No, top tier, dude. Listen to me. Okay. Listen to what words I'm saying. Top tier.
Okay, man. Okay.
Storm's Pizza, Una. It's nice pizza. Okay.
Yeah, you only.
Syrup. I'm giving you 2 tiers. I'm giving you 1 tier, and then I'm gonna go to the next one. Give me a break here. Just listen.
You can only pick one per tier, bro.
You never said that. You just said 3 tiers of pizza. You didn't say what the dimensions of the tiers are.
Go ahead, man.
2 top tier pizzas. Middle tier, so Una and Storm, top tiers. But what I was trying to get at is that at Una you have like arugula, you got like maple syrup, you got like a lot of fun shit on the pizza.
The Beltliner at Una is very good. It's a very good pizza.
The Beltliner. So what's on the Beltliner?
It's like cheese, sausage, and I think some maple syrup. It's on the maple syrup pizza. It's
having maple syrup on pizza was a fucking game changer the first time.
The cheese and the syrup, it's a very nice combination.
Yeah, it's very nice. What is that? Sweet and salty?
Sweet and savory, you could even say.
Savory. Okay, then after that, there's like a couple, like I guess middle level pizza would be like I don't know, like the Chicago deep dish place by the house or like something like that. But like I don't order pizza at the house now because Storm makes pizza, so I don't do that as much. But if we're at an event, it would be like the middle tier would be kind of like that greasy pizza chain, and then lower tier it has to be like Little Caesars. It's like 1 or 2 ingredients off of plastic almost and cardboard. Basically, like cardboard with some cheese sprinkled on. That's Little Caesars.
My like bottom tier pizza is Domino's. Domino's is a solid like chain pizza. Like you get a consistent product every time. The sauce is good. Big fan.
That's your bottom tier?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
that's like a chain. There's a little pizza shop in Calgary called Bonacera. It's not a pizza shop, but it's like a Greek restaurant. But it's like a really good like dive bar, Greek style pizza, super greasy, really good sauce. Big fan of it. Okay. And then my top tier is Una because it's.
You're just mad because I said Una 2 and Rector.
No, you pick like the intention was 1 per category, but yeah, it's cool, man.
Okay.
Your world, I'm just living in it, eh?
Hey, well, I didn't know the rules, so didn't get them. You had another question though.
So the other question is,
tell us your pizza places, folks. Tell me if I'm way off on Little Caesars because I got to be in a real jam to go to Little Caesars. But I saw Jesse Byrne eat a lot of Little Caesars, so people have
one thing that those places get right though is like the cheese bread and like the crazy sticks and that stuff. Like they don't fuck that shit up. Like it's really it's always kind of thing, it's always good, man. I love Pizza Hut too. Pizza's a good spot. So my other question is, what rodeo event could you start right now and make an amateur finals in 1 year, and it can't be bull riding?
Well, I think one that it would be bareback riding because all you got to do is stay on, and you'd probably make the finals.
I would never want to do that shit.
I know. I didn't say I would want to do it.
Especially at the amateur level.
You didn't say if I wanted to do it. You just said what I could make the finals in, man. Language. You just said what I could make the finals in. Bareback riding, boom, stay on one, done. Not that I want to do that, but
you'd have to get your rodeo count. You have to get a rodeo count to go. You can't just stay on one and go. Yeah, you do. Yes, they do, man. To make the CCA finals, you have to go to 12 rodeos.
You didn't say CCA. Yeah. What about FCA?
That's right. Well, same with the FCA. You have to go to 7 rodeos to make the FCA finals. You have to go to a minimum amount of rodeos.
Nobody cares. Nobody.
No. You're gonna make one bareback ride and then not get your rodeo count, not get to go to the finals.
I'm just saying, man. No, you could because right now they're so hard up on bareback riders. If you go to one rodeo, look at the standings. Have you looked at the standings lately?
No, because I have not looked at the standings.
Well, seriously, if you had looked at the standings for any FCA rodeo in the last 3 or 4 years, if you go to one rodeo, you're making the finals. Look at it right now.
I don't want to look at it.
You don't want it because I'm going to be right.
No, because when I last went to amateur rodeos in 2014, there's a rodeo.
That was 7 years ago, Wacey. Things have changed, man.
Well, fuck, man. Okay, cool. Congrats on making the finals.
You said 2022.
But then you're gonna go get on. Then you're gonna go to the finals and get on 3 horses.
You didn't say I had to compete. You said what one am I making?
Oh my god. You're ruining the question.
Okay, but if I was actually gonna do it, what is the more important goal? Is it making the finals or is it winning money, or what is the point of your question? Because
it's like getting good. It's getting good enough to compete at a final. You have 1 year to get good at an event to make a final.
You got to phrase the question differently.
Well, no, I just said you know. I assume that you would say that.
You can't assume anything, man. You can't assume anything.
Man. Okay.
So
congrats on making the bareback riding finals at the FCA, bud. Good for you.
That was the question you asked. I answered it.
Cool. I had nothing else to say.
Oh dear! If breakaway roping was that's a tough event. That wouldn't work. I want to say roping, but I can't rope good, so it'd have to be bareback riding if I'm going to make the finals. Because I could hang and rattle probably in the bareback riding. Unfortunately, that's where we're at right now. But what would you do, Wacey? I know you want me to ask you the question. Which event? Which event would you want to get good at? And
I could do it in the team rope. I could do it in the team rope.
You think so, man? Team roping is not.
I know I could, man. Huh?
Team roping is not an easy event, though.
I've won money in the team roping before at rodeos.
Which rodeos?
Verdun, Manitoba, Tisdale, Saskatchewan. I think I pulled the check in North Battleford. What was your time? We were 6 and 5 in Verdun, and then we were 6 and 6 in Tisdale.
That could win.
We were in North Battleford.
That could win a rodeo or two.
I've teamed up lots back over the years, my friend.
So you could do it.
I know I could do it. Just have to put the time in, but it's expensive, so I really wouldn't want to do it.
You don't want to do it either.
I would like to do it, but I'd just like to have a horse, pull it down the road, have a truck and a trailer. It's a lot of money.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That is
and you gotta find a partner. It'd be fun though.
Thing with bareback riding, you need some different spurs than bull riding, and you need a rigging.
I just would not want not a single ounce of my being wants to get on a fucking bareback horse.
I'm with you, and like probably I shouldn't say probably, but well, no, if you go to like a few rodeos, you're probably gonna get on one that like goes really fast and runs really fast.
Especially at that level.
It's probably gonna be fucking.
It's not gonna be a good time.
No, actually, you know which one I think I could make it in, Wacey? Which event?
Say it.
Pee Wee barrel racing.
Actually, you know what? I don't think you could. I honestly don't think you could. Really and truly. Some of those little kids, man, are handier than most adults.
Yeah, but you only gotta be top 6. I could beat at least 5 others.
Man, I don't know. I haven't seen you ride a horse very much.
Oh dear.
I don't know. That's one thing we got to do. We got to have a barrel racing match.
Well, don't we already have one of those coming up somewhere?
I don't know. Do we?
I thought we had something coming up with.
I talked about the idea the one day on our way to Saskatoon, but
okay.
We got to actually make it happen.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. Well, you got anything else for the show, or should we wrap it up?
That's it, man.
There's a lot of conflict on this show.
There was a lot of conflict. Good thing we weren't together because we might have fucking brawled.
Might have been a full.
I'm cranky. I had a fucking terrible sleep last night. I'm just cranky.
Are you hangry too? It's 6:30.
I'm starving, man.
Okay,
that's the worst part about living alone. Now I want to talk about this. Living alone, living alone is fuck. Like I love it. Like I've really grown to like love being in my own space and all that kind of stuff. Being able to do whatever I want, but it fucking sucks also because I have to do the laundry. I have to clean up after myself. I have to cook dinner. I have to do the dishes. I have to.
You got to be a lot more efficient with your time, eh? Like you got to really plan.
Well, I'm as efficient as I can be at this point, right? Like I was just at the office for 8 hours, and I got to come here and jump on the phone for an hour and a half, and then I got to make dinner right after work, and then by that time it's fucking 8:00. And do you really want to be cleaning the house and doing laundry at 8:00 at night when you haven't really had any chance to unwind or hang out?
What did you do yesterday when you got home at 3 p.m.?
I unpacked my bags. I worked on a couple things, made a TikTok. I did some research, and then I napped because I was very tired. So it's one of those things where you got to be able to like take the time. But it's just I'm just complaining because I'm jealous of people who have somebody to help them out with all that shit, and I don't. And it sucks. So
well, you got Jeff.
If you want to date me, hit me up.
You got Jeff. You could just throw all your laundry in the dry cleaning by Dave bag and just call it good.
Yeah, but that cost me like a bunch of money.
Yeah, but what is worth more, your time or your money?
Well, if I had more money, my time would I don't have. That's the thing is I don't have any fucking money either. So that's another thing. I don't have any time. I don't have any fucking money.
Don't have any jobs.
My pets' heads are falling off. I have a job that doesn't pay me very much money. So.
Oh fuck.
That's my first world problems for
that was a good rant. That was a good rant.
It sucks, dude. But it's one of those things. It sucks, but it's also awesome because I can just like.
You can live in your filth if you have to. But don't you have a dishwasher?
Yeah, like I have things like I have laundry machine here and I have a dishwasher and stuff, but it's a lot of time, it's fucking never ending. Like I'll clean up my apartment, like do a big clean, and then like by the time next week, like if I do that on Tuesday, then the next Tuesday I got to do it all over again. It's like I don't even do anything. I'm fucking hardly ever here. Like where does all this shit come from? I don't get it. If someone is listening to this and they can help me out with this, like please hit me up because I'm battling. I'm struggling.
I'm glad that this video only shows this much of my office because everything going on like down here and like over on the floors.
Takes me 3 to 5 business days to put laundry away.
But what's your KD
3 to 5 business months.
What's your KD on Warzone though?
Man, I haven't played Call of Duty in 2 weeks. I haven't touched my Xbox.
It said last night when I was on there, it said 9 days. So that's a pretty big run for you. 10 days to not be on that thing. It's not quite 2 weeks. But it's 10 days.
Don't have time.
Yeah,
it's almost 2 business weeks.
9. I've been on there 9 business days.
That's true though. Okay. I've been busy, man. It's been a busy couple. Everybody's busy, but anyways.
And we're going to be busy again this weekend because we're going to Hannah. So there you go.
Yay.
All right. Okay, I'm gonna go now.
Yeah,
Have
me
a
too.
good dinner.
Adios.
This cowboy's all alone, riding down that old 2-lane. The whiskey goes down slow, so close your eyes and grab the reins. Oh, the miles and the tears through the long, hard years, like a dust storm. I'm heading north, spend my life chasing a wild, wild